Cool.
Hey,
How you
what
doing,
is
man?
up? What's up, guys? I am live
So,
here with the Nerd Man from Hot Takes Tuesday, and we're about to get real nerdy. We're going to talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League. We're going to talk about the future of the DCEU.
mhm. And I think I'm going to be trying to do a little bit of convincing, or we're trying to maybe talk over because we both have very different views on Zack Snyder's Justice League, right?
Yes.
So we don't, and so one of us likes it a lot, and I don't really know
Not
your
me.
position.
So,
I don't know if you just dislike it or you think it's okay or what's
I
yours?
just released my 1 hour, 16-minute review of it.
Oh, I look forward to watching that.
Yes. Spoilers, I give it a 5.5 out of 10. Just above average, but it didn't suck. I think the movie,
5.5 out of 10.
and I grade movies
Okay.
very harshly. I see it as, if you give a movie a 7 out of 10, that means that 7 out of 10 moments were good. I think a 5.5 is very fair, very average. I mean, I gave WandaVision a 6 out of 10. I thought it was just above average.
You gave WandaVision more than this time.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
How much do you give? How much you give Infinity War? Or, no, how much you give Endgame? Let me get a baseline on you.
Objectively or subjectively?
Objectively.
Objectively, it's probably a 6 or 6.5. Subjectively,
6 and 6.5. Jesus Christ, you are harsh, bro. I give it more than that, and I don't even like it.
Dude, the middle of the middle hour of the movie is a complete mess. But subjectively, it's probably an 8.
I think the way I look at movies, because Snyder's movie, I probably give a higher rating than I personally would look at it, like subjectively.
Yeah.
I give it a rating as in, if you stick 100 people who like at random who like comic book movies down to watch this movie, what do you think they would think of it? And I think I would say a good 7.5, 7.8 people would like the Snyder Cut, and then there'll be 2% who are just so put off by some of the bullshit in it that they can't deal with it. So I really think that a 7, like an 8, a solid 8, like 80 out of 100 or 8 out of 10 people, if you chose as at random, who like this genre, who like comic book movie genres, would like this movie. So that's usually how I rank things. Because, like, for instance, I don't like Westerns, you know? I really don't. I can't, you know, apart from maybe like certain spaghetti Westerns, you know, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which it's just a masterpiece, and certain movies like that. In general, I just can't get behind it. Or war movies is another strange one for me. So I often have to think to myself, look, I understand I don't like this genre, but if I was to review it and to be fair to it, I have to review it as if I'm watching it from the point of view of somebody who likes this genre like it. It's very hard to do, you know,
That's
because
fair.
you're always very subjective, but I tend to want to do things like that.
So what is your personal grade on Zack Snyder's Justice League?
Because it's undisciplined, and it's got a lot of excess, I would say subjective. Just I like it so much, though. It's really hard to say because there's a lot of technical aspects to it that I really like. I'd say about a 7.5. I'd give it an 8 personally and a 7.5. Just to I'll ding it for the excess and it's unnecessary. You know,
did you call it a masterpiece though?
Did I call it a masterpiece?
Yeah.
That was right after I saw it, bro. I've gone back on that a little bit.
I know a lot of people are going to be.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of people completely hating this movie because it does have some just undeniable good parts in it. But I think a lot of people are so hyped up right now because they've been waiting for it for so long. The 2017 movie was so unbelievably bad that we're kind of hyped up right now, and I think give it 2 or 3 months, people are going to look back and say, man, that was like a 6 or 7 out of 10 at best.
No, I think look. I think they're hyped up, and that's why they're calling it a masterpiece. And I did it as well. But then I had to step back for a second and say, wait, like, look, the highest points of this movie, the highest points of this movie are about as good as you've got in a comic book movie. I would say, sure, you may have had bigger fights, like say in Endgame, right?
Yeah.
But the technical like wizardry and the visual language used to express superpowers in this movie is quite different from anything we've seen. Now, Man of Steel tried to do something like that, and it was fairly successful. But this one is completely different. You've got 5 different heroes, and for the most part, Zack Snyder really, especially when it comes to the Flash, certainly Wonder Woman.
Something we can agree on.
You can throw Superman in there as well. He finds ways of expressing the way they move, the way they would be in real life, right? That is technically masterful, and I've never seen before of any director doing. I think the only director I'd say who is comparable in creating these kind of incredibly innovative fight scenes or action scenes is I think it's the director of Kick-Ass or The Kingsman. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Matthew Vaughn. Oh, dude, Kingsman
Matthew
1,
Vaughn.
One of my favorite movies.
Right. So that action scene,
the church scene, dude, the scene in the church with Freebird by Leonard Skinner playing, that is just like, you want to say epic. That is an epic, just fast-paced, well shot, well choreographed, amazing scene. Matthew Vaughn should definitely, dude. Matthew Vaughn could come in and make a great DC movie. Right.
So this is the kind of director I'm talking about. Right. When I say that DC should be looking for that kind of director to come in, look at what Zack Snyder's done already. I think Matthew Vaughn would be really good for Superman, right? For Henry Cavill Superman movie.
Okay.
Continue this universe, right? Like, whether you like this film or not, right? You can say that he set up the pieces quite well if you take away that trash epilogue with Joker. Just throw that in the bin. Right?
Yeah.
And
I have some thoughts.
Yeah, okay, good.
We'll get to that.
Throw that in the bin. Get a director like Matthew Vaughn. I'm not too keen on Patty Jenkins anymore. I would give her another try, but I do it under strict. I would also be looking at other directors and writers to give pitches for the Wonder Woman from this movie and see what they come up with. To give like some pitches just in case Patty Jenkins isn't up to snuff, right? So Superman, that and her mainly, and then like even Martian Manhunter, get some directors to look. Hey, what can we? I know he was awful in this. It's not. He was one of the worst parts of it, but he wasn't in it that much, thankfully.
Yeah, there's a reason he looked like garbage, and he was clearly
he ruined the scenes he was in. He honestly ruined. We'll get into it. We can go by chapter if you want, man, of this movie.
Definitely.
But in general, what do you think of that idea? I mean, I'm not talking about like Snyder just running roughshod over the universe. I'm talking about a controlled, discussion. Get Zack Snyder, tell him, look, dude, we like what you've done by the end of this movie, but we don't want to go to that nightmare place so quickly. We want to build up to Darkseid. So how about you go away 6 months, 7 months with your writer guy. Take something like Tower of Babel, the comic book Tower of Babel, where Batman takes on the Justice League. Take that. That will fit very well into what he's built already. Maybe Batman. Sorry, I'm not. Let me not. I've got ideas about how you could fit it into the universe, so let me not do that
okay, man.
right now. But I was just saying that you take that story, tell them to go away for 6-7 months, try and develop a Justice League. I don't want any one of the Justice League dead in it. Okay, you can't. No one's dying.
Right.
Wonder Woman,
like,
Lois isn't dying. Nobody's
you
dying.
you finally get the Justice League together, and he just wants to kill half of them.
You're right. Exactly. That's asinine to me. I think that's the stupidest thing.
So okay, I say get Zack Snyder and tell him go away for 50 years, never come back. I want them to completely wipe away the Zack Snyderverse, dude. Everything that he has set up is so angsty. It's so it seems like okay, in a good way, he still seems like a 14-year-old. Like he still has that wonder, that magic. I want to throw everything at the wall. Wouldn't this be cool? Wouldn't this be cool? But he has a great visual eye. But then the 14-year-old comes through in the wrong ways, in the angst and the cringiness.
Yeah.
I maybe.
So let's go.
Like,
let's talk about this movie, right? Let's talk about this movie. All right. So we're talking about the angst and the cringiness, right? So
yes, we are.
Go on. Let me understand from this movie.
Okay. Number one, if you watch my review, you'll see Batman.
I haven't seen it yet, so you're gonna have to.
At the end, I talk about the nightmare scene, and just Batman dropping the F-bomb and Joker talking about giving him a reach around. It literally made my skin crawl because Batman has the Joker right where he wants him. Why does he need the Joker on that team? They have Mara, Flash, Cyborg, Deathstroke, and Batman. They don't need Joker on that team. And he tells him, I'm going to fucking kill you, just to drop an F-bomb. And I'm saying, if you're going to fucking kill him, Batman, you're going to say, I'm going to fucking kill you, then why aren't you fucking killing him? You've killed hundreds of people. Why don't you fucking kill the Joker? He's just said it just to say, you want to see Batman say fuck? That's number one. All right?
All right. That's a good one.
Let me think of some other things. Let me pull some other shit out of my ass.
Can I respond to that if you're gonna
respond to it while I'm trying to figure out my notes here?
As you know, we probably both absolutely 100% agree on that final scene. I even mentioned it myself before you mentioned it. Yeah, that scene for me is unchecked, unadulterated Zack Snyder. That was what he went back and he reshot with the 70 million, right? So his reshoots were that scene, okay? Now, in terms of the whole body of that movie, right? We know now that the studio was constantly on him to make it more, certain things more light, more, have some humor, have some more heart in it. And I think Jeff Johns definitely helped out with that. I don't care what any of these guys say. I think Jeff Johns was on set every day, and he probably helped out in getting Zack Snyder to inject certain humor and heart. Then he did something stupid, which was try to get another director to finish off his vision, which was idiotic, right? But I think for the most part, Jeff Johns had already injected himself into that. Or maybe Zack Snyder somehow one day had some epiphany that, hey, maybe I should put the Justice League rather than the Watchmen in a Justice League movie. I don't know what it was. It was either Jeff Johns or he himself had an epiphany to do that himself.
Yeah.
So whatever the reason, when he came back and he got to do his own thing, you get the Martian Manhunter scene. You get the nightmare scene. You get everything that's, I think, is almost not universally panned. There's still some edgelord Snyder fans who like to claim that it's good, but
yes,
almost universally, if you ask, at random people, what's your criticism of this movie? It's that scene with the Joker. No one likes the Joker in it. The reach around, many people don't like Mera. I don't mind Mera in the body of the movie, but certainly in that last scene, I know what she did with I don't judge people on that. I just look at the film.
No, I don't care about that either.
Yeah,
she sucks in this movie.
All right, cool. Fair enough. I said a lot of people, say that the Mera thing they have a problem with. But the nightmare scene, all of that, the Martian Manhunter, those are the things that people have problem with. And that's why I'm saying you need to control this director, and you need to control all your directors. It's not just Zack Snyder, it's Patty Jenkins as well. What a terrible, terrible job she did at Wonder Woman 84. Woof.
Yeah.
How the hell did you sit? Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, I'll let you finish.
I was going to say, how did you sit at table read with the actors? I don't know if they did a table read or if they do table reads for these big movies. How could you sit at table read and sit there and allow this dialogue, this terrible dialogue, to exist in a $200 million movie is beyond me. But anyway, that's it.
Not only did they not do a table read, I don't think they were on set together. There was anti-chemistry. I have a whole review on that movie. That movie, but that's a good point. That they need to strike a good middle between Marvel and DC. Sometimes Marvel can control their directors too much. That's why they pushed Edgar Wright out of doing an Ant-Man movie, because he wanted to make his vision. Somewhere in between that, don't let Zack Snyder do whatever he wants, but don't control him to where they want to leave. There's a good middle where, but Zack Snyder signed a contract. Like I say, he knew that the studio was going to want a 2-hour movie. Why did he shoot 4 hours? He knew that he wasn't going to get that out. But also,
you wouldn't want a 2-hour Justice League movie anyway. So.
I would like a 2.5 to 3 hour. But even if it was 3 hours, he still shot an extra hour. He knew he wasn't going to get that. But also, WB is also at fault because they just make trash decisions. They're terrible. Hey,
just by the way, this is Philosophical Pickle's first ever live stream. So if you click on some of the things that these people are saying, it will appear on the screen. In the comments.
Yeah, guys, I'm a noob to this.
Super wise.
The Nerd Man is popping my cherry right now. The Nerd Man is my first.
And in that shirt, I'm loving the opportunity to pop your cherry.
If you're subscribed to me, you got to go subscribe to the Nerd Man at Hot Takes Tuesdays. This guy knows what he's talking about. Not on this topic though. He's wrong on this.
So just click on exactly, and then you get it on the screen. There you go. So the Joker scene is a fair criticism. I'm not a fan of Jard's Joker, but I respect Jard for sticking to his performance. I don't know about that. I respect him as an actor, but
of course he wants to stick to the performance because he got screwed in the 2016 film. But I don't think there's that Joker was so bad. Why would giving me 45 minutes of him make it any better? They're acting like the Ayer. I think the Snyder cut is far different than what the Ayer cut would be. The Ayer cut would have better editing and more Joker, but do we want more of that Joker?
We want more of that Joker. I'm not sure.
Especially,
let's click.
We just got Joaquin's Joker, which even if you don't like the movie, that was a fantastic
amazing performance. Amazing. I want to see him in the Matt Reeves universe.
Zack Snyder, best director ever. Hey man, you can think that. I would disagree, but I hope you love the movie, man.
And then JM2021 says the movie is average. What's this? The nightmare ending could be considered unnecessary, but he knew this might be his last DCU film, and he wanted to give us a Batfleck Joker dynamic before it was. Well, the dynamic was awful. What was the reach around thing, as you said?
He was like, Batman, you want to stick around so I can give you a reach around? Like he sounded like Jim Carrey, dude. Prime Jim Carrey. Ooh, hubba hubba Batman. It was so,
All right, let's take the epilogue out, okay? Because we both agree that should be wiped off the face of.
That was 10 minutes of the movie. It was clearly tacked on. Let's say the movie ended with the credits, the montage, everybody wins. That movie,
exactly. That's what I want to talk about.
It's
okay. If you click on it again, it will turn off.
So there were excellent parts that Zack Snyder did keep you invested in the movie. I agree. I think Cyborg if we want to get into that, let's
My little fish stick.
Oh, dude, I completely wiped all of these lines from my head. I forgot that he even said these things.
Just everything he said was horrible. I didn't know what they were talking about.
He's the worst Joker. I would say he might be the worst iteration of the Joker in any media.
He's worse than Cesar Romero, dude. I'd rather Cesar Romero come back with his mustache under the paint.
Christopher Nolan is the best director ever, but slow motion screen, Zack Snyder really awesome.
Christopher Nolan is not the best director ever, dude. Neither is Zack Snyder.
I can understand
okay directors. No, they're very good directors, but like, come on, man. There's Martin Scorsese, there's Woody Allen, there's the director of The Godfather. There's a lot of
Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg. There's a lot of foreign language directors who are a lot better than anything you get in superhero genres or action genres. So I understand people like them, but anyway, let's get on to this.
Okay,
On to this discussion. So we've already eliminated the nightmare scene. Okay, I agree with you wholeheartedly, 190%. That is a garbage scene. And it should not be seen ever again.
Yes.
Romero's a legend. Yeah.
It should be destroyed in the fire at the end of Inglourious Bastards when they burn the theater down.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean we can jump all over the place here. I can start by admitting I'll admit the things that I liked about the movie. Okay. Because I'm not just completely biased. Cyborg was good. I don't know if Cyborg was quite great because when they introduce us to him, he's already Cyborg. I would have liked if they would have flipped it and had us see him as the football player, as Victor Stone, get a relationship with his mom, get who he is as a person. Then you see the humanity that he loses. But he's already the monster, so I didn't really care about him for a couple scenes. Then they show us his backstory, and even though he got a lot of screen time, but he's still, I don't feel like I know who Victor is. I know who Cyborg is, but there was that one scene that I loved, one of the best scenes in the movie, where he gives that lady that money from the ATM.
I think it was beautiful. And
that was
rousing, and it was really beautiful.
That was one of the few moments that made me feel something. I was like, okay, that's Victor. Victor's a great person. There's still humanity in there. And I loved the last scene where he says, I'm not broken, and he accepts the monster that he's become.
And
he accepts Cyborg.
And let's not forget the whole, because each one of these characters comes with their supporting cast. And that whole bit with his dad on the tape was really beautiful, where his dad was discussing, I thought that was excellent, man. And that splash page you had with the Flash running through the wind.
I like that. I like that shot.
While he was smiling, that was straight out of a Flash comic, dude. If you ever picked up a Flash comic and you don't get moved by that scene, I don't know what
I wasn't moved, but I did like
the whole bit where he was explaining like the whole thing of the movie. I thought was really good. The whole meaning and whatever. I thought people often say that, and rightly so, that there's not much emotion in Zack Snyder movies. And I found myself very emotionally engaged with many of these characters at different points. And that particular dynamic, I think the dynamics and the MVPs of this whole film is, I often say that the Justice League or the DC universe is basically a story of gods and their dysfunctional parents.
Yeah.
And each one of the parents, from Hippolyta to or the supporting cast, from Hippolyta to Dr. Stone, who's Cyborg's parents, to Harry, is it Henry
Lennox?
Henry or Harry Allen? It's one of the two. Henry Allen. For the dad of Flash. All of those scenes worked and helped to ground and give emotion, so that when it came to those crescendo scenes, it was again about these gods and their parents, right? It was Cyborg and his parents, like being the final temptation that he has, and Barry Allen saying, trying to talk to his dad as he's going through the Speed Force. I thought that was fucking beautiful. I jumped up first when he went into the Speed Force. You know, I was just jumping around, and
let's get to that scene.
Okay,
because that's a positive
okay.
on my list. I didn't feel much in this whole movie. No moments made me jump up and cheer. No moments made me go, oh my. No moments made me feel like when I saw the Avengers for the first time. But,
wow.
Yeah. So when the explosion happened, and for a couple seconds you didn't really know what was happening. He starts shaking, and he's like, I got to break the rule. And then you see he's like in like the multiverse, and I'm thinking, wait, is he in the Speed Force? What's he doing? And dude, when he started turning back time, my jaw was dropped. That was hands down the best moment of the movie because it was
absolutely.
I couldn't believe they were going there. It was visually great. It finally gave something for the Flash to do in the final battle because he didn't do anything the whole battle. I was like, where's the Flash? Where is the Flash? There's the Flash.
There's the fucking Flash. And it was so visually inventive as well. The way they decided to, as I said, the Zack Snyder's way of expressing superpowers is unlike any director I've seen. And the only comic book director that I've seen that has even gone anywhere like that is, with what's his name, Vaughn, Matthew Vaughn, with that church scene. Now that wasn't a superpowered being, obviously, but that was like out of a comic. That was what you'd see in a comic.
About the Quicksilver scene in Days of Future Past? I mean, that was
that's just slowing down. That's easy.
He just showed him.
Go on.
He basically just showed the Flash running in slow motion with lightning around him. I mean,
no,
I don't know.
That is not true. He showed him. Think about when he saves those people from the bricks falling on them.
That was great. I love that.
That was great. When he's Wonder Woman I don't think anyone's ever even thought about trying to show Wonder Woman deflect bullets because it's like in modern day because it's so stupid. It's like you've always thought as a power, how can you even try? I'm just not even going to go there. I think Patty Jenkins was like, I'm not even going to go there. Right? He fucking did it, and it looked fucking amazing. She actually was blocking the bullet.
Yeah.
There was a quick moment where she did it before she's on the ground and like blocking all of the machine fire from the kids. It's before then when she's just fighting and she just blocks it quickly for a minute and then kicks the guy. So there's bits of where he's expressing superpowers, and it feels like he's just touching the surface of that. It's not like I feel like I've just witnessed the beginning of that, and that if he was given another opportunity, he could go even further, with these characters and how he can visually come up with inventive ways of expressing how they move. And nobody tries to do that. And you can't, the Quicksilver thing, I love the scene, but look, that's just slowing down. Like, it's not, it's not a big deal in terms of like camera work and any director could do that. Any director could do that in terms of what he did with the Quicksilver.
I don't think Brett Ratner could do that. Or
it's
Michael
been done
Bay.
Before loads of time. It's basically what they did in the beginning of Fight Club.
I'm talking
basically
about
the same effect.
I'm talking about specifically the Flash scene where he's running back and when he turns back time. In that scene, he's just running in slow motion and you see things going in reverse. Doctor Strange did that, seeing buildings come back in reverse. He has lightning around him. It was awesome, but I just don't think.
No, he didn't, and it doesn't look as good, and it doesn't look as comic booky in Doctor Strange. Like Doctor Strange is not a great. It's a good movie, but it's not a great movie. And visually, I was expecting a lot more from Doctor Strange. It was okay.
I can agree on that.
It was okay, but I was like, when I saw that trailer, I was like, fucking hell, this is going to be something else. I thought personally Nolan did it better in Inception. With all the building bending.
Never seen Inception.
Okay, good. It's not that great.
Doctor Strange is a whole other topic. My friends and I always talk about how.
Let's stick to this.
But hey, JM2021, we will get to your question. Just give us a few minutes. But we will get to the whole future of the Snyderverse and DCU. But to stick to this, I can't agree that the MCU Quicksilver I didn't like him because he was way too slow. You could see him moving. I
Yeah.
loved that the Flash was he moves so fast. It was realistic. Like you wouldn't be able to register him from here to
Yes.
here.
Yeah, exactly. And yet you still caught his movement somehow. He still managed to catch the movement so that you could, do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it was good.
There was the scene also where it's Batman is fighting the parademons, and then Barry rushes in and he says, this wasn't the plan, and he's not a fighter, obviously, so he's just like, the parademon starts trying to shoot at him, and he's just zipping around, and he's zipping around all these different places, and he stands in the door, and you see him do that, like, and it's just like, that's Flash, that's great.
And he moves like 2 feet and just launches that parademon. That was great.
Yes,
so,
it was great.
His powers were great, but I was telling somebody this. It's like if you build a mansion, a beautiful 16-room mansion. Oh my God, that's beautiful to look at. It's beautiful to be around, but it's built on the foundation of Play-Doh. That mansion is going to fall. It looks beautiful.
Let's talk about the Play-Doh then, because I don't understand what you're hating so much about the movie. I understand the metaphor. Or disliking, whatever you want to call it. You're saying you don't want Snyder to come back.
Let's get this right.
What about this movie made you feel like that?
I don't hate Snyder. I don't hate this movie. I just hate you for disagreeing with me. No, I'm kidding. Let's get that right.
Wow.
So, Barry Allen as a character.
And I can't hate you because of that shirt you're wearing.
Yeah. The reason we're having this conversation is to show that people need to realize that you can love the movie, I can hate the movie or not like it, and we can have conversations. We don't have to scream at each other. We don't have to fight. It's so stupid.
Yeah. Until we go offline anyway.
Yeah.
Once we go off the stream, then we'll be like, fuck you, man.
Yeah. But the character of Barry Allen was so aggressively obnoxious. I get that he kind of seemed like he had Asperger's or something. He had something where he just was talking and he couldn't stop. But he never really made me laugh except for maybe 2 or 3 times. He was kind of endearing, but he was just kind of annoying.
But I think if you look, and I really honestly think this was done on purpose. There were a couple of lines that I remember. The paper monster line. He said something about a paper monster like eating it in his pocket. And I was just like, why the fuck? How the fuck did that get past the the chopping block of? It was just terrible. It was just before he went to save Iris West. And he's going for the job. And I thought all of that was pretty amusing. And what I liked about it was he was annoying in the way the Flash is. In the animated series, the Justice League animated series, the Flash was a little bit annoying sometimes. He was a little bit of a child. A little bit. And he was a little bit annoying.
He was a lot of it. He was very, very annoying.
Okay, but that's a version of the Flash. That's a version that you could say, okay, the Flash can be sometimes a little bit annoying. But that could be just a choice of the character, because I think it did make him endearing when you saw him with his father and he was humanized from that kind of thing, that you see that's almost a front. And I'm not trying to, because I know a lot of Snyder fans usually do this, try and put things in the movie that isn't there.
That's okay.
In order to justify the thing, but I'm just looking at it as I do get that sense that that it wasn't a front. That was definitely him, but that was him being nervous. And when you saw him around his dad, you saw actually this is the inner him. This is the real him. This is the him when he was a kid, right? Like, and he's with somebody he dearly loves, and he can finally be himself without being awkward, essentially. And I really like that juxtaposition because it meant something when you see again that the money shot, which is him racing into time, and he's still talking to his dad, the person.
That's a good point.
Only person he's connected to in this.
But that's a good point that you're making. That it's a front. He's nervous, but it's just the execution. That's my problem. Like, I heard you talk about the Martha scene in BVS. Let's not get into it right now. But I liked your explanation of it. You understood what the scene meant. I understood what the scene meant. It was clear. It was Batman's PTSD, all that. Just the way the dialogue that Snyder
executed. Yeah.
It just the execution. When the Flash was running and he was like, "Dad, I'm one of the best of the best." I was thinking he was sending that message to his dad through the Speed Force, and I was like, "This is awesome." But he was just talking to himself. And that was, if he would have literally just said one line, he said, "Best of the best." That one line would have been great, but he had to just, Zack Snyder had to.
Yeah, all right, but that's a nitpick. Come on, dude, that's a nitpick.
But there are thousands, not thousands.
You know when you're in the fog of war and you're making a $300 million movie and you're trying
I've never
to
been there personally, but yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like I can imagine you're just like, I want that to fit. I want him to be able to speak to his dad at this moment, but he's nowhere near his dad. So how is he speaking to his dad? And yes, you could have thought that he would have said it through the Speed Force and somehow connected with him or whatever. But like he just wanted him to express that. So I think it was worth the sacrifice for that moment to just be able to just go, all right, he's just, sometimes you do. My mother's passed away, unfortunately. And there are times where I talk to her, right? Like I just, I have a, quick chat with Mum, like, what do you, and you do get a sense. And obviously she's not there. She doesn't, but I can see that you can go to a loved one, like sometimes in a moment of high drama in your life and like try it and say things to them. I know I've seen that. I remember doing something or achieving things in my life where I'm like, God, I wish Mum was here, and I would have a quick imagination of what I would say to her. And I think that's what it was. I think, it was almost him imagining what he would say to his dad, given that he may not come back from this. It was showing it was expressing that really this could kill him,
I agree.
But I think it was trying to do.
That scene was still great. That didn't take me out of it. Look, let me hit you with 3 or 4 things, and then I'll let you try to defend it because I got a few things I got to get to here.
All right.
Okay, I'm just gonna start naming
a few things. Jesus Christ, it's alcohol.
No, it's literally one page, but I got other pages about Ray Fisher just in case we got on that topic.
Okay.
So it's the fact that there are these little inconsistencies with the characters that it's okay once, twice, 3 times, but when it happens every other scene, it takes me out of it. Plus, when I'm sitting there thinking, okay, this is a nice scene between Barry and his dad, but in my head I'm thinking, well, he's not even Barry's dad anymore, so it's a waste of time because he's not even going to be his dad in the Flash movie. Stuff like
That's stupid, man. They need to just wait. They need to wait.
That's my whole point of why this movie shouldn't have come out. I know Zack did a lot of things in 2016 when he shot it that he didn't know what the future of the DCEU was going to do. But now that he's released it 4 years later, okay, go
on. Hit me with it.
They have to make air bubbles to talk in Atlantis. Okay, now it's shown that they don't have to do that. Wonder Woman tells Batman, Aquaman must be a halfling because he can breathe air. But then are all of the Atlanteans halflings because they can all breathe air? No, they're all pure-blood Atlanteans, so that didn't make any sense. Martian Manhunter. Oh, man, I got a lot to say about him. Where in the hell has Martian Manhunter been? And I know you probably agree with this. Zod comes down to destroy Earth. He wants to flatten it, turn it into Krypton, and he just sits around and shoots missiles at him and goes, well, whatever. And then in Batman Superman, Doomsday comes in, is going to destroy the planet. Martian Manhunter once again shoots a missile at Superman, but because he wasn't,
he tries to stop him to shoot. Look, I think that was a theory that Zack Snyder ran with. It's one of his excessive things. Yeah, Zack Snyder basically. I remember it came out around Man of Steel that General Swanwick might be Martian Manhunter. It was a stupid idea then. It's a stupid idea now. But anyway,
it's dumber now
I think because Zack Snyder's got a lot of online presence. You can see that, right? With him going on YouTube, he looks up reviews and what people are saying about his movies. movies online, and I think he read that somewhere and thought, oh, that's actually not a bad idea, and it's like it's a terrible idea, dude. But anyway, go on, tell me your last point.
Amber Heard in this movie has a British accent. In Aquaman, she doesn't have a British accent.
Okay.
Wonder Woman, we know now she can fly for the past 30 years. She doesn't fly. Okay. What else do I have here? Oh,
I'm not. Are you sure you're explaining to me just before I go against this? You're explaining to me how this makes this film bad, or are you just saying in universe it doesn't make sense?
In all in one. This is why this movie came out at the. This is why this movie shouldn't have come out 4 years late. This is why I think even if these moments in the movie was as good as you say, you can't help but be taken out because it's so inconsistent. You can't just have this movie without the rest of the universe, because then you'd have to you'd have to take out Batman, Superman. Okay, in the moment when the Themyscirians said, "We have no fear," I'm sure you love that moment.
I do actually. Yeah,
a lot of people love it.
You know me well.
30 seconds before that, there were multiple shots of Themyscirian warriors literally trembling with fear. It shows them shaking with their axes. Then it cuts to them saying that was inconsistent. They were guarding the mother box before the mother box even went off, before Superman died.
But aren't those special trained Amazons in that little dome?
Yeah,
weren't they? Because they're the ones who guard that thing all the time, right? Which I thought was a little bit harsh. But anyway,
do they just stand there?
Island,
do they stand there with their swords, just guarding it at 24/7?
Well, I was like, imagine so. I think they were the special guards of the mother box. I don't know what they've done. I don't know what they've done.
Wonder Woman's mom was already in the room. You're telling me she's always in there?
They sent for her in the beginning. They said, "Bring the queen."
You're right. That's a nitpick. In the Batman Superman post credit, or the scene where Aquaman is floating towards the camera, he already has his mother's trident. But in this movie, Volko throws his trident and says, "Grab your mother's trident." But he already had his mother's trident. Now he doesn't have his mother's trident. Dude, there are literally dozens of inconsistencies like that take me out of it. And look, I'll let you reply to this, but after you're done, I'm going to rip into the Iris West scene. That was the worst scene in the whole movie, and I'll tell you why.
Do you want to do that now?
Oh, yes.
Or do you want me to? I can answer these, but like, if you want to do it,
it's up to you. Do you want me to keep
going? Long?
It's going to take about.
It's going to take long because that's one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
It's going to take about 3 minutes.
All right, maybe I'll tell you what. Let me answer this.
Before. You go, and then I'll
because
get my rant.
I think, like, look. First of all, most of these are critiques of something that isn't to do with this film, basically. So you're referring to other films to make this film inconsistent. But the consistency of logic within this film is absolutely fine. So yes, in the Aquaman movie, they don't use the air bubbles, but who cares? I mean, like, that's another director's movie. This is Zack Snyder's movie, and this is how he's decided to express the Atlanteans. And to be fair, like, the way I saw it was that if you look at Zack Snyder's movie, the way they're talking to each other is the way dolphins talk to each other undersea, because they can't move their lips, right? Like, you can't make sound underwater, right?
Yeah, I was with it.
So so they're talking to each other through this dolphin thing.
Yeah.
So like, kind of, I suppose it's echolocation or something like that. I'm not sure exactly what. Yeah. So they're talking to each other through that. And then Mera creates the air bubble so that they can speak to each other in English, right? Or in Atlantean, I presume they're speaking, or whatever. So they can actually talk to each other so that we can, I guess it's for the audience's benefit. So maybe they can't fully communicate in this way. So the way I saw it is, if I'm watching Aquaman, right, that they're always speaking to each other in this echolocation, but we're just seeing them speak normally. So that's how they're actually speaking to each other in the Aquaman movie, right? Yeah. So it's just that they're not creating the air bubbles because that would be. How would I put this? So look, have you ever seen those films where it starts and they're speaking a different language, and then it goes into it a little bit, so it shows that they're speaking a different language. But then it goes into the film like a little bit, and then it switches over to English.
Like it's Or you mean like an actual foreign film?
Yeah, it could be like, say, dogs, right? Like you see the dog barking, right, in the film.
Okay. Yeah.
And then eventually
it shows what they're really saying in English.
In English, like in cartoons. That's how I imagined the consistency between what Zack Snyder did and what James Wan did. It's like essentially what they're doing is they're talking like that all the time, but it just changes over into English. So it didn't really bother me or take me. I didn't think that there was too much of an inconsistency there. And also, I have to say, I thought it was a pretty stupid idea, the air bubbles. Same with the Atlantic Girls singing for Aquaman. There's so much to cut out from the movie. Hi, Lantern. This is my boy Lantern, by the way.
I watched you guys' video. That was absolutely terrible. That you were asking about Zack Snyder's angstiness. That's an example.
Let's come back to that. Should we? Do you want? Because
Nerd Man,
we've got a few to go.
You're gonna get me going, bro.
We've got a few to go through. I actually thought that again. This was part of the visual language. What's up, man? This was part of the visual language in which Zack Snyder really cleverly was actually thinking about how these people's powers, abilities, and worlds worked. So, it is true. You wouldn't be able to speak underwater. So
I agree.
He kind of thought something up, and I was like, actually, I thought that was a stupid idea, but now watching it, that's actually pretty bright. Same with Flash. We'll go on to this scene a little bit later to discuss why you think it's bad. But Flash runs out there to save Iris from the car, and at first, when you think about like how speedsters usually save people, they just grab them from the air. Barry Allen understands the physics of what he's doing enough to know that if he grabbed her from the air, he'd tear her apart. So
I like that.
Gradually touching to make sure that the friction.
Oh, he's definitely touching her. He's gradually.
But anyway, so I thought those little touches, no pun intended, those little touches in the movie to express how these characters work with their powers were actually quite effective, and it was one of those kind of Zack Snyder thinks things through too much that actually worked for me a lot. So I did like that. The halflings breathe air, with Wonder Woman saying the halflings breathe air or something like that.
She tells Bruce that on the back of a truck. She says, Bruce says, well, he was breathing air when I talked to him, and she said, oh, he must be a halfling. Well, that means they're all halflings because they can all breathe air, but they're not. He's the only one who's half human.
Well, again, I don't think you can criticize a movie for something that's outside of the movie if it's in the part of a universe, but I feel
that's
like
in the movie.
I feel that these films are so kind of like they're kind of auteur, like. It's not like the Marvel universe. It's not like Kevin Feige where you can go, actually, that's inconsistent, Feige, because, you've got this whole universe together. And there are a lot of inconsistencies in Marvel as well. Let's not forget. And people love Marvel.
I love Marvel movies. Some of them are really bad.
No, but there's inconsistencies in between movies.
All over.
Loads of inconsistencies.
Yeah.
So we forgive them because this is such a huge enterprise. I mean, you're talking about one director coming and wanting to have their own vision for a film and having to deal with another director who's doing the same character in a story that's supposed to be connected to each other and having to stay completely consistent with each other. I think you have to give them a little bit of a break on that. It's the same thing with Thor. With his hammer, he doesn't need his hammer at the end of Thor Ragnarok. That's the whole point of the story. As soon as Infinity War begins, he's searching for a hammer. It's like, come on, man! I thought the whole thing was you didn't need this fucking hammer. It's you.
But I will say, in the Marvel movies, dude, they are riddled with inconsistencies.
Yeah.
But I can personally, and we can forgive that because the character work is so good. I think the characters that Zack Snyder developed are weak.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. British accent, I think she did. As a British person, I didn't mind her British accent. I thought it was all right. I've heard much worse, and I actually thought I liked Atlantis better in this movie. I really did. I thought Atlantis actually functioned. Atlantis was a little bit darker, a little bit creepier, had a little bit of a horror vibe about it.
It was realistic, like what it would look like in the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, and I liked Volko as well. Like I thought, Defoe was playing that. You know, the creep at the beginning of a horror movie who tells the young kids not to go down to the abandoned house or whatever, the abandoned beach house. And he's like, there's always that old creepy guy who does that at the beginning, and you don't take him seriously, but actually turns out to be right. I think he was doing that kind of performance, and I thought it was more interesting than the Volko we actually got in the Aquaman movie. I wish they had have gone down this line more. So it was an interesting view actually into where the DC was going before Jeff Johns decided to go, hey, we're doing more lighter.
That's the whole problem.
She can fly. Yeah, I think she should have been flying. I agree with you, and she should have been flying in this. And it's one of my big criticisms of
these are nitpicks.
Wonder Woman couldn't fly, and Wonder Woman wasn't powerful enough, and I don't think the Justice League themselves were powerful enough to get whooped by Superman like that. I thought was a terrible idea. I don't know why he did that. Has his mother's, what does that mean? We know fear, trembling with fear. We have no fear, trembling with fear, and then they were scared. All right, I mean, come on, dude. What are you gonna do? Like, he's
I'm gonna
a big fucking. It. You're trying to show that this guy's a terrifying individual. Like he's really terrifying. And I didn't get from that the Amazons really weren't scared. It was just like them flexing. That was basically Hippolyta flexing. She's like, show them your fear. We have no fear.
All they had to do.
It's her saying, come, bring it. That's all she was saying. Bring it. It doesn't mean that none of the Amazons would be afraid of a terrifying enemy and monster.
It's just
like that.
when it's like saying it's like if you're in a movie and a guy says, I don't piss my pants. But 30 seconds before you literally see him pissing his pants, you just say that's
it's a good scene.
They were trembling, dude. They cut. All they had to do was cut out the 3 shots of them literally shaking with fear, and I would have been like, oh, that's a great moment. They have no fear. If they would have just had shots of them being stoic, I get they have fear.
I think that's an acting choice because I don't know that they really meant that they had no fear. That's what I'm saying. I think you're taking it. It's a little thing. Like if you're going up to fight someone, right? You're trying to pretend you're not scared.
Yeah.
You're trying to do your best possible to be like, I'm fierce and blah blah blah. You're trying to do your best possible, but inside you are a little bit scared. And that makes you human. Yeah, like
but they're not human. They're Themyscirian warriors. Wonder Woman has no fear. She smiles.
I mean, human. When I mean possessing human emotions, okay, or possessing emotions that human beings have, right? Like it's a flex move.
I agree. It's a nitpick, but like I said, there are dozens. There's a big nitpick in every scene. I could nitpick every single scene in this movie except for the few that I've said are great.
Okay. All right, well, let's move on to the Iris thing. I mean, if I can't convince you that from what I've said already, then you're not gonna like it. All right, go on.
My mind has been made, and you cannot change that. So let me lay this out for you. I loved when the Flash moved and his shoes exploded. That was fantastic. I loved when he pushed the window open.
Yeah,
I liked that he had to slowly touch her because that's what he would have to do. But this whole scene is predicated on the fact that a man with a CDL driving an 18-wheeler, drops the hamburger he was munching on like he's in a Popeye cartoon, and is reaching down, not looking at the road for 45 seconds while he's reaching for his hamburger. It was so it felt like it belonged in Wonder Woman 1984. He was reaching for his hamburger in the floorboard, and he's driving an 18-wheeler on the road, and he would have murdered a woman if the Flash wasn't next door. That's the first thing. The whole scene was so comical. I was laughing. Then when he started moving, Zack Snyder had to just rub it in my face.
How many people do you think would be bothered by that? Truthfully,
I've seen a couple reviews, and both
you've seen a couple of reviews, but how many? Like, honestly, people look at that and they go, "All right, that's a stupid reason." But how many people would be so bothered by that? You have to think about that.
I get
it annoys you, but like, it's not going to annoy that many people that you.
I watched 4 or 5 reviews. 2 or 3 of them have mentioned it. John Campia mentioned how stupid it was. Not that John Campia is.
Yeah, exactly. He's not the.
Well, look, why couldn't he have just run a red light or been drunk? Why did he have to drop his hamburger on the floor?
John Campia claims Man of Steel is a masterpiece. So
I don't
really.
But dude, that was one of the dumbest setups I've ever seen for any scene in any comic book movie. That's number one.
Come on.
No, that was Wonder Woman 1984. Jewelry robber dangling. Dude, write it all down.
There's dumber stuff in. Okay, all right. Go on.
You're mad at how right I am right now, but
no, you're right. But it's not so. It's just stupid. It's just not.
All right, so he pushes the window. He goes out to grab her, and he just starts. Now, take away what we know about them in the comics. This is the blooming romance. We know that in this movie they don't know each other. He's never met her. He starts rubbing the side of her face in slow motion like a fucking creep.
No,
this doesn't make me like Barry Allen.
No, he doesn't.
Watch the scene. He goes.
All he does is he moves her hair back. That's it.
He moves it back for 10 seconds. And he's doing that.
Doesn't. He just moves her hair back. That's all he does. That's the only thing he does. And then he folds her arms carefully. And then because he has to. Because basically the way I see it is he's trying to work out how quickly he can move her.
Why did he touch her face without her permission?
He touched her hair.
Why?
He just moved her hair out of the way to see her because she's a beautiful lady. Come on, what the hell do you want? That's all it was.
He might as well sniffed it and said, coconuts. Like, it was so...
Well, he didn't. So you can't criticize him for doing something he didn't do.
And it was...
He did was he went like this because it's fucking Kirstie Clements.
Let's watch it again. I will count how many seconds he touches her face. I guarantee it's over 5. But all of that put together, fact that
he
it
doesn't
hinges
touch
on...
her face, though. Can we agree that he does not... He touches her hair. He moves her hair out the way.
Tips her temple. So I'm technically right.
just the
tip. So you put it all together. The whole scene... The whole scene, to end this, the whole scene hinges on a man with a CDL, a professional 18-wheeler driver, dropping his hamburger and grabbing it in the floorboard, which you would never do.
Yes, I agree.
The Flash touches a woman without her consent.
But it's not a plot hole.
It's not weird. It's
not a plot hole. It's not even really a plot.
It's terrible writing. It's terrible writing, not just bad writing.
It's not terrible writing. I mean, you can't dude. Look, I'm just saying that in the history of all terrible oversights in writing, I just don't see that as so fucking bad. Like, there's so much worse in terms of in comic book movies alone.
Well, yeah.
You know, I could find scenes like that all over fucking Spider-Man, or the Raimi Spider-Mans or something like that. But
the Raimi Spider-Mans are trying to be cheesy. They're not supposed to be dark and based. Zack Snyder wants to be based in the real world, but then he wants to cheat and also be silly comic book. It doesn't go together. Then let me finish.
All right, no, finish.
Then he moves her, and then I know he grabbed it for the dog, but then he just randomly goes and grabs a hot dog out of midair and puts it in his pocket.
Yeah.
The music that was playing, the fact that the hamburger fell, the fact that he touched her face at all, her hair, the fact that the scene took so long for it to happen, the fact that The dog shop owner didn't even question what happened. The fact that her window exploded and he's suddenly over there and he just goes, "Do I have the job?" It was so Wonder Woman 1984. It like Lantern said, it could have been completely taken out of the movie. You could have had just another scene with Barry Allen. This movie rubbed me in the wrong way. It rubbed me.
Didn't it? Where did it
This movie
you?
touched my hair in the wrong way, bro.
Touched your hair, man. It violated you.
And it was so long. The song that you like in the scene, it didn't. It was Zack Snyder saying, hitting me in the head. You better feel something. Here's a slow song. It's slow motion. But dude, the CDL driver dropped his hamburger, wasn't looking at the road for 45 seconds. That just completely ruined the scene. The whole thing was wacky, and I was laughing out loud. And then Zack Snyder has to rub it in my face with a slow motion shot of a sesame seed from the man's hamburger. That is the aggressively. It's the overbloat that when you're like, well, this is Zack Snyder's true vision. He could have cut out the sesame seed.
Trust me when I say I am so like Zack Snyder's stupidity and character stupidity gets to me so much. It's one of my biggest problems with Man of Steel. Superman destroys a fucking big satellite, right?
Yeah.
Throws it down to, in front of General Swanwick, flies down and says, you can't look for me, you can't search for me or whatever. And then when he's done that, after he's done all of this thing saying, don't look for me, you can't find me or whatever, he goes, I'm just a kid from Kansas. How long do you think it's going to take fucking General Swanwick to find you and the American government to find you when you've just narrowed down exactly where you come from? The aliens already went there. Why did they go there? Probably even you can look to the farm they went to. So there's a lot of stupidity that Zack Snyder does. I'm willing to forgive the stupidity in this scene because the stupidity actually wasn't from the main character. If it was a stupidity that Barry himself did, where I'm like, you're a fucking idiot, I can't follow you, you keep doing illogical shit, then I'd be like, okay, this is really taking me out of the movie. But since it's a side character that I don't care about, a man driving a van, I don't know what's his problem. Maybe he's got a low IQ or something, I don't know. Like, and then, the woman in the shop is equally, I don't care about those characters. What I care about is what Barry did. And Barry didn't do anything that made me feel like he's a character I don't want to follow. I was fairly kind of, entertained with him about that. And I thought it was a good scene to show where he is. This is a guy who's, he doesn't really have a job. He's a little bit aimless. He doesn't have a girlfriend. He's, a little bit awkward when he comes to the shop and he's trying to get this job. So I thought it was a good way to set up who he was while having a little bit of action, having something a little bit thrilling to break the monotony up of finding out who he is. And then that made that scene with his dad more impactful. It made it less seem exposition-y where, he's saying you're running in place, it made it seem like, okay, now we know where he's coming from, that we can see that, and get straight to the heart and the emotion of that scene in prison. So I get what you're saying. I really do see what you're saying, but I guess it just doesn't bother me that much. And I guess we do have different tolerances for these things. But for me, it's when main characters do something that is idiotic that it bothers me.
But what about
when in Man of Steel, all the stupid stuff is done, like on Krypton, is done by Zod, and the Kryptonians. Like it's just a whole bunch of stupid. You're like, why are you sending them off planet? Why are you staying on planet when you have space travel? What big questions have to be raised. Yeah. About certain aspects of Man of Steel. And then Zod, why are you terraforming a planet that makes you into a god? Right? Why are you terraforming it to make it like Krypton and lose all your godly powers? I don't get it. You're a stupid idiot. I can't follow you. But it doesn't, all of the stupidity, as you said, are around the main characters.
But
as opposed to the main characters doing it themselves. So
but the main characters are in a scene that is hinged on the stupidity. It's like I said, it's a mansion built on Play-Doh. Now,
but is it that big a deal? Is it really? I mean,
to me, it was a scene that was as bad as some of the shit in Wonder Woman 84. Like, it was that bad.
It is Wonder Woman 84 is preposterous. I can go through a whole thing. There's a whole thing. I would say that is Raimi level, Spider-Man. Like, there's lots of stuff like that. I haven't watched it in a while. But even like something like the Burton Batman movies, there's stuff in that's as silly as that scene. I don't really, and you were saying, oh, Zack Snyder's trying to be serious, but like the truth of the matter is, he's following a character in Central City, Flash, who's always been kind of goofy, and he establishes that in fact, Flash is goofy in this movie.
Well, so don't. Then take Flash out because
wait. Because if you think about it, what he's done is he's brought 5 different comics. Like, that's what the Justice League really does. It's like there's the Aquaman comic and the Superman comic and the Batman comic, and you're bringing them all together. So in Central City, it would be a little bit of a goofier place, a little bit more lighthearted, a little bit more Raimi-ish than in Gotham City. So I feel like it does make sense a little bit. Maybe I'm reaching on that last point, but I do.
Oh, you're reaching like Reed Richards, bro. You're pulling out some giant straws.
But the point remains that Flash is a goofier character. So if anything goofy was going to happen, it should be in Central City, and it should be with that character.
Well, I do want to.
Yeah, go on.
We can talk more about that scene, but I mean, I got my point. You made some good points. I think we can just disagree about the scene. I want to address what Lantern 2814 says here. I'm more concerned about Wonder Woman choosing to kill the guy in front of those kids. That was also
Lantern, you're saying that. Lantern, you're saying that. Unbelievable. The man who defends the Superman neck snap. You're the one saying that.
Hey, I will tell you, I think Man of Steel is better than this movie. And I will defend the Superman neck snap. That's a conversation for a different day.
Okay, that's a different conversation.
This scene, I'm not going to rant as much about this scene, but this was the one time in the movie where I thought, okay, I can pinpoint who Zack Snyder is as a person, as a director, as a filmmaker. He wants the biggest bombast instead of the rational choices that the superheroes would actually make. The man, she was just shown to block a bunch of bullets, dodge bullets. We know how fast she can move. The man is reloading his gun, and instead of running up to him, flicking him on the head, break his gun in half, lasso him up, give him to the police. Instead of doing the rational thing that Wonder Woman would do, now not just Wonder Woman in the comics, the Wonder Woman in the movie. She has to go and just eviscerate the man. She explodes the side of the building and kills him for no reason. Now, I understand she will kill when she has to. She kills monsters she has killed. But she's not going to kill a man if she doesn't have to.
Human being.
What do you think about that?
And that's what I'm saying. So, again, I would say in terms of the DCEU, and in terms of Zack Snyder continuing to do a Justice League movie, I would say to him, look, dude, not being funny, people keep complaining about the Justice League murdering people. Can we just not try one movie? Just do one, Zack. Just do one.
You can't, dude. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
Josh Whedon's Justice League, Just Save One, but
which was a good scene.
No, it wasn't. People are gassing up that scene a lot. People are gassing up that scene a lot. But I will say this: that I would try and control Zack Snyder. Just try and control him. I think
you can't.
Just say, do the next one, Zack. Hey, Zacky baby, do the next one without killing. Just try it once. And let's see how the audience, likes it. Oh, they like it. Yeah, we'll do that again in the next one. Just try once. Tell him he can do whatever he wants. See, You know, it makes me think of that scene a little bit differently because I'm starting to think that little girl is low key. You know, the little girl who says she wants to be like Wonder Woman. I think she might be low key a serial killer because the way she smiles, she liked that violence.
Dude, I didn't like that moment. She was like, "You can be whatever you want. Like, look at this man's bones on the ground over here." And the girl was like, "Yeah."
Look, okay. But that girl is a little psycho. She's going to grow up to be a killer. I'm telling you, she's going to grow up to be like a
she's going to grow up to be Zatanna, bro. The universe is all connected.
Oh, shit. Yeah, maybe that was what he was going for. But
no way.
Anyway, about that scene, I thought the action was incredible, right? The action of how he did it was incredible.
It was pretty good.
It could have been done a little. There was little bits where it looked a bit wonky, but he's getting there. And you know, in another Justice League scene, I'd hope a more epic Wonder Woman scene would be done in that kind of style, like a little, like more and more epic, because it was almost like he was testing the ground with what you could do in terms of speeding her up like that. So the action was incredible. I don't like the Justice League killing. I make no secret about that. I don't. I think there was a better scene even for Steppenwolf. I thought that that Wonder Woman and Superman should have punched Steppenwolf through the portal over Darkseid, and then when he lands, Darkseid just while still looking at the Justice League, he Omega beams Steppenwolf and eradicates him. I thought that would be a much better scene than that.
Would have been cool.
And it still would have shown how badass Superman and Wonder Woman are, rather than this stupid scene that they did with her chopping off the head. It's not like, and they did this. Oh, I'm like, she's not doing anything badass. Why are you doing? She basically, Superman had to save her. If Superman wasn't in that fight, she would have been fucked, and so would Aquaman. So let's not try and gas up her chopping off. Because I remember Zack Snyder said something about like, oh, only a god can kill a god. That's why Diana's killing Steppenwolf, right? He posted something about that before the movie came out, and I was like, well, dude, clearly Superman could have killed her, killed Steppenwolf. So please, let's not pretend that Wonder Woman chopping his head off was anything special. Anybody could have done that at that moment.
I mean, Aquaman could have killed him because his trident stabbed him through the sternum. He could have stabbed him in the head.
Yeah, it was bullshit what he was saying.
And I didn't mind them killing him because he was a monster. I didn't really care. But I mean, that what you said would have been cooler.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just saying, if again, it's about controlling the director. Just say, dude, can you do it where they don't kill? Is it possible? Is it so anathema to your sensibilities? You can make it a little bit dark. You can make it a little bit, serious and mature, and stuff like that. But let's try not killing, right? Let's, and I think this movie, it's one of my many little nitpicks of the movie. I think this movie would have been a lot better if they didn't kill. Honestly, I just think that scene would have played better with the little girl. It was like, I thought that scene was really moving. In fact, I know. Because it is what Wonder Woman would do, and Gal Gadot isn't always the strongest actress, but you could tell in that scene that she meant that. I feel like she really did actually mean that when she sat down, when she was kneeling with that little girl in that scene. It's like that kind of Gal Gadot in real life, almost.
It felt very Wonder Woman. That scene almost felt like a reshoot, like that was tacked on. That she just walks over to the girl and she's like, "Can I be like you someday?" And she's like, "You can be anything you want," like letting you know that women can be anything. I don't know. I didn't love that moment.
Well,
it was very Wonder Woman, though.
I think most people do. I
know you love Wonder Woman more than me. So
no, but I've looked at different reviews, and most people like that scene. I'm not,
But guess what? Most people don't talk about the hamburger.
Most people don't talk about the hamburger. Look, I want to talk about this because obviously this is going quite far because what is your overarching criticism of this? Because we can go into every scene. I could go into a masterpiece. I could go into Quentin Tarantino movies. I could go into a Scorsese movie. Look at every scene and go, they didn't do this, and in reality they would have done this. And in a way, I get that, and it is true what you're saying. but I don't feel like that overall. For me, I'm looking for inconsistencies in the script. I'm looking for bad dialogue. I'm looking for stuff that is not just a nitpick of a particular.
So something like.
So what's your overarching? Is it too dark? Is it too morose?
No. So
good, because I was going to say that.
I'm not one of those people who thinks like a movie doesn't have to be dark or light. Just a good movie is a good movie. Like I said, I really like the Watchmen movie. I enjoyed Shazam. We've talked about it, but I can enjoy a dark or light movie. Something that what you're talking about is something like when the whole movie hinges on this. You can't just look at this movie without looking at Batman, Superman, because these characters that we're witnessing are hinging on you seeing that movie.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
So like if Batman and Wonder Woman, if this is the first time we're ever seeing them, it's even worse because we don't know anything about them. So
it hinges on the Batman.
The whole movie hinges on Batman feels guilt about Superman, but they were not close at all. He says that he made a promise to him to bring the team together. He made no such promise.
When did he make that promise?
Like the script, the writing, the characters, the way that they're written, the way that they act, the dialogue, it just doesn't work for me. The team has no chemistry, especially when they're fighting. They have nega chemistry, zero chemistry. When Superman comes back into the team, these are little things that people don't think about. The holy trinity of comic books are on screen together.
Yeah.
They don't speak to each other ever. Rewatch the movie. Superman might say one line to Wonder Woman or Batman. They don't talk. Maybe that's just a thing that I want, but can we have the heroes develop a relationship? Can we have Batman and Steppenwolf talk? They don't say one line to each other. Can we have Thanos and Doctor Strange, Thanos and Captain America and Iron Man? They speak. Their ideologies bounce off of each other. We don't know anything about the villain. The villain and the heroes don't challenge each other in the ways that they should. The heroes themselves, other than Cyborg and Flash, don't really talk to each other. They didn't feel like the Justice League. So
Aquaman and Wonder Woman had a good exchange.
I'm exaggerating.
Flash and Cyborg had some good exchanges.
I'm exaggerating a bit, but
each other. I think Batman and Wonder Woman had some good exchanges. I'll admit this, that I think that Whedon actually did do one thing that he improved in the movie. It's only one. And that was when they were explaining the mother box and how to resurrect Superman. Not the actual explanation. The explanation of why the mother box would work on Superman was better in this movie. But the tension between the team, I thought was really good in terms of the dynamics. I think it gave Wonder Woman a little bit more character. It made Batman a little bit more cynical, a little bit more what we expect of Batman. And, it even gave that Flash one of my favorite lines in the Joss Whedon thing, where he goes, if she kills you, well, we're going to stick up for her. I thought that was actually one of the funnier lines of Barry Allen in Justice League, because he didn't have many. So it was really bad. I agree with you that the dynamic was a little bit lacking, but it wasn't enough that I just thought it was a terrible, slog or an exercise of. There was enough dynamic there. As I said, like one of my favorite lines was, when Wonder Woman's talking to Aquaman and they're having a discussion, and obviously Aquaman is estranged from his people, and he says, I hate my people as much as the Amazonians hate my people. And she says, hate is useless. When she says that to him, and she does it in a cooler way than I did, but she says hate is useless.
That's a good
such a Wonder Woman line to say. It was a great piece of motivation to show the relationship between the two of them. But and there was more like that. There was quite a few more like that.
No, I'm not saying that through the whole movie. I'm talking about we watch these superhero movies for the great characters, but we also watch it for the great finale. We want to see these characters.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep going back to the first Avengers, but in the final battle, you can think whatever you want about it. They felt like a team. Cap told Iron Man, Hawkeye where to go, what to do. They helped each other. They helped each other do moves. Their powers bounced off of each other. In the final act, when Superman comes back, there's no dialogue. Nobody talks to each other but Flash and Cyborg. That is such an oversight that I can't. That's like if Cap and Tony just didn't speak in the first Avengers at all. They just did their own thing. And then
but a lot of that was stupid jokes, though, dude. Like, you have to admit, a lot of the Avengers stuff right at the end was kind of dumb jokes. It wasn't serious. They weren't taking the fight seriously. In a fight, you don't really have time to be communicating with each other like so much. I think, you know, there was enough of the stupid woohoo, like my man, like in the sky, like where Cyborg catches him, you know, and yeah, there was I think they'd made their plan before they went. And, you know, Batman was talking to them through the earphones. He's saying, don't, you know, help me or whatever. And one of the things I'll say about this movie, actually, because I know this isn't something that you've brought up, and it's good because I think it's a quite weak criticism. But I think that a lot of people look at Zack Snyder movies in general and are like putting things that come out of former Zack Snyder movies on this movie. Right, so the darkness, the moroseness, the lack of hope, and so forth. And the other thing that I think is people aren't looking at this film as if they hadn't seen Josh Whedon's cut. I think you have to like look at this film in a way. No, it isn't. It's all London. You're just. Come on, how is BVS about superheroes not being judge, jury, and executioner? Batman is judge, jury, and executioner all over that shit, man.
Lantern, and they weren't trying to hurt triggering kids. Us.
And they weren't trying to hurt kids either. At least Wonder Woman was killing people who were trying to blow up kids. Batman was fucking killing people who just were trying to transport something for a company. That was what he was doing. Like he was trying to they were trying to transport kryptonite for a company, and Batman just went in and rammed with the Batmobile and killed them. Sorry, go on.
Well, to supervise here, the team. I'm exaggerating a bit here. The team does speak, but like these 3 or 4 examples, there's not much more of that. I'm not saying they have to be talking and
to
quipping.
The entire team. Flash talks to Batman, making sure he's okay. Yeah, you know, he's exactly. Batman talks to Flash as well. He's like, I'm winded, you know, and I thought that was a quite good scene.
They talk to each other a handful of times, but it's they don't go.
Cyborg talk before taking on Steppenwolf. Yeah, I look.
But what about the Holy Trinity?
They had a plan.
Okay, that's a good
point. The plan was, and they were talking about the plan in between.
When Superman comes back, all Batman knows, Batman's the smartest guy in the universe.
Yeah.
On Earth, he knows that Superman is bad. Lois comes, he picks her up and flies away. He could have went and laser-eyed her in a field somewhere, and he's about to destroy the Earth. They have no idea where Superman went. They haven't spoken to him. Then he just comes to the battle in a black suit, and they don't even question him. Say, "What's up, bro?" They just sit by and go, "All right." Like they don't. There's no logic in the final battle, in the final team. They don't feel like the Justice League. And why did Superman pick a black suit?
So what do you want? What did you want them to do? Look, in terms of the black suit, right? It's the iconic,
I really don't care about the black suit.
It's iconic or whatever. I never really thought
that's a nitpick
because at least it's not like Wonder Woman 84 where she puts on armor and you're like, why did you put on that armor? What danger did you think you were going to face that necessitated you putting on an armor? You can already fly. The only usefulness for that armor would be the flight thing. So at least this was just a change in wardrobe, right, for Superman. He's just like, I feel like wearing black today. Maybe it's more intimidating.
I didn't mind it.
I don't know.
That's just a question. And like this is what I'm talking about. The Trinity, the 3 main characters you want to see have a relationship. I didn't care about Superman and Batman in the last movie, so I didn't feel much when Superman came back. But I was like, okay, we're finally getting the Justice League together. And Batman and Superman don't speak the whole battle. Like I'll give you an example. Cap is saying, Iron Man, you draw out the flyers. If they turn back, you distract them. Hawkeye, you get on the roof and you hit them from afar. Hulk, you smash. We'll keep the fighting on the ground. He's calling police officers. Tell the firemen to get people out of here. Thor, go bottleneck that portal. Stop them from coming from the portal. There's a plan. This plan is Cyborg hacks.
Yeah, but I don't think
and everyone else just punches.
I don't think it's as epic as you're making out, like that stuff at the Avengers. It's not the Avengers. It's a
good team dynamic. They
it's
each
not
have
a great
their roles.
team dynamic. It's just
it's fantastic.
Captain America just telling people what to do. It's like, okay, good.
Could Batman get one line? But it made sense.
Saying, look, he made the plan before they went into the place, and then they executed the plan, and then they talked to each other when they needed to communicate about that plan. You're saying it's not a good movie because it's not this movie. It's like, it's not that movie. It's not the Avengers. The Avengers did great. It was great to see them talk to each other and make a lot of stupid jokes. I enjoy that kind of stuff, but this is a different movie. It's a different movie. They weren't doing that.
I'm comparing
why and when
one works and one
came
doesn't.
back, I'd have to say this about the Superman, because this is probably not one of your criticisms, so it's not going to come up, and it's definitely one of my positives. This is the first time we've seen Superman be Superman in a Zack Snyder movie. Like in Man of Steel, he doesn't feel like Superman. In BVS, he definitely doesn't feel like Superman. In this, not only does it redeem Superman, it even redeems Pa Kent. It redeems when he's flying, when he's about to take flight for the first time in the black suit, and Pa Kent's talking to him, like saying things that he obviously said to Clark in the past. So we finally get, so Pa Kent was actually teaching Clark the good things to do. Yes, that should have been in Man of Steel, but it brought a little bit of a smile, like, okay, you're trying to build bridges, Zack Snyder, here rather than burn them for once with Superman fans. And it meant a lot to me that it was Jor-El telling him love the people, look after the people, care for the people. And then you have Pa Kent, you can fly, you need to show yourself, you can't just hide up. I loved that whole I was nearly in tears as a Superman fan to see him dragged through the fucking shit and piss for two movies now, and to just have that little bit where you finally hear Pa Kent, who's my favorite character in the whole Superman mythos, is Pa Kent. To hear him get redeemed like that, it meant a ton to me.
But it really in the story, it didn't make sense, because this is the same Pa Kent who told him to maybe let people die.
I don't care what the reason is. The fact that he tried to correct. The fact he tried to correct it, I don't care what the reason. If it doesn't make sense, you know what? That fair. Man of Steel can be put in the trash. The whole of Man of Steel, as far as I'm concerned, can be put in the fucking trash in terms of what it did to Pa Kent and what it did. So I don't care what the reason is. If it doesn't make any sense to what he said in this movie, at least he said it, and it was good for me.
Well, and also, it redeems Superman. That's the thing. Superman has sucked. I don't know this Superman.
Yes,
why do I care when he comes back?
In 4 minutes on that farm, he started being. You saw it. Like I saw
that was
it.
A good scene.
Like him playing with the butterfly. This gentle kind of. He's a gentle man, but he's got a ton of power. It almost reminded me of the All-Star Superman version of Superman, where he's really like this chilled out God kind of character, but he won't fuck around. What does it say? Superman is supposed to be light and a ray of hope. Think about all the times you've seen him in comics and people are happy. I haven't seen it once. I'm any Superman Superman appearances in the Snyder movie. But no, this is what I'm saying. It started getting like that in this movie. He started being like that. You saw him smiling. You saw him saying, I love the world. He actually said, I love the world. Like, I love growing up here. He was remembering all of it. And that
was a good scene.
All of that in 3 minutes. Do you know how much I hated Cavill before this? I was like, get to step in, Cavill. I was like, literally, go away. And and everybody else disagreed with me in the world. I know there's probably going to be a bunch of Cavill fans who hate me for saying that, but in 3 minutes, he actually made me think, you know what, I want to see a Cavill Superman movie, but as this Superman, not as dark, evil Superman from this future world that they want to do. I want to see this Superman interacting with the people, doing what Anthony Grimes is saying, which is making people happy, as he said, like people feeling hope around him. I want to see that Superman come back and have a couple of Superman movies with him. Superman vs. Brainiac, for instance.
I agree with you. I agree. I will give you that. But the team up movies, you have to establish good characters. Then when the team up movie happens, that's when you care that they come together. You can't just crap on Superman for 2 movies. He's basically the villain for his second movie, and then have him dead for most of this movie.
Batman was the villain, actually. To be fair, I think.
But I mean, they make him.
I don't know what the fuck that was. They were
the
both
whole
villains.
Thing, whatever.
They were both villains.
Then he dies. The world doesn't care about him. The world hates him. They vilify him. But now they hang up banners. It is inconsistent. So when he comes back, I don't care because the Superman that has been built for the past 7 years, it wasn't him. This was better. But you can't just make one character in one movie, make him in another movie, and then give him 30 minutes of being a good character and say, this works.
Look,
Plus, him and Batman don't speak to each other.
Let me explain what I mean, just to understand why I think you can use this movie.
Explain how I'm right.
So you're right. First of all, and I'm going to admit that. For me, BVS, and Man of Steel don't exist. Say this is the movie that sets up all of these characters, right? So the epilogue doesn't exist either. I know I'm having to take a lot away from the movie to justify it. So Batman and Superman doesn't exist. Man of Steel doesn't exist. Just this movie as a template. Get some directors in, do a Superman Brainiac with Cavill. That way you make all those people who love Cavill happy. And this is the Superman, with this Superman, not with some fucking twisted Superman who's Park Kent is telling him, don't show yourself, hide, just stay on the farm, don't do anything for anyone. This Superman in this movie where Park Kent is telling him the right things to do. Go launch a Superman franchise from that moment. And I think it could work. Especially if you flashpoint. If you flashpoint first, you can really make it work.
Oh man, I'm excited for the Flash movie, but you're making the first Flash movie we're ever going to see. Flashpoint already?
Right, exactly. So this is again my point. Going on to everybody doing backflips over Walter Hamada being head of DC. I don't see him as he's worse. Quite frankly, I'm sorry. I think Zack Snyder's bad. He's actually worse, right? This guy, like apart from the Batman and the Shazam movie, maybe Black Adam, I don't know, but there's no coach. Like, where is this going? What is Shazam going to team up with this Bat? Where is the connectivity? Where's your Green Lantern?
Get to that.
Where is the slate that makes sense of how we move to a next Justice League, or how we move to a Young Justice, or how we? There's nothing. He's doing Zatanna here, Blue Beetle there, Constant. It's like, it's crazy to me. At least with this, we have 5 casted characters. Jason Momoa, that is, Gal Gadot, Ezra Miller. I think more people like Ezra Miller now, whether you want to admit it or not. Ezra Miller has won a lot of people over. People like Iris West as well. I mean, people even like Cyborg.
She wasn't. So all she literally did was smile. She wasn't even in the movie.
She did a good performance. It's Kirstie Clements. I've got the hots for her. Leave my wifey alone. Okay. So basically, you've got enough here that you can build from rather than destroy. Destroying will only just mean, I don't think it will. Look, as much as you want to say, Zack Snyder has some hardcore fans. Some of them I really don't like. Most of them are quite nice, but some of them are really, really bother me a lot. Okay, they can't hear anything that you said. But a lot of them are fine. They're nice. They're good people. Why do you want to take all of those guys away? If you just continue this universe just from here, just pretend like it doesn't. I don't even feel like Batman v Superman even really has any meaning to what was set up by the end of the Justice League or Man of Steel. It really doesn't.
Exactly.
You can literally take the characters from here, the ones who are standing, getting onto the Batjet, the ones who were talking about creating a hall of justice with room for more. You can take all of those characters and just continue a universe with them without them killing, maybe, hopefully.
But you can't. You can't
just
start,
do that.
You can't start a universe with a team up movie. You're saying, let's destroy the past two movies, like Kylo Ren says, destroy the past. I don't know if you watch Star Wars.
No, I don't know. That reference was like, phew.
Kylo Ren, he says,
like,
destroy the past.
Anyway.
Well, Kylo Ren says, destroy the past, let it die, but then he does the same thing that the past, whatever, it's stupid. But Batman, Superman, Man of Steel, it's all done in your head. Throw it in the trash. But
I don't think it's done. It just doesn't matter. I don't think it matters to what happened in this movie. Like,
but the movies that the characters in this movie are based off of have to matter. You have to throw away their movies, admit there are inconsistencies in every scene. There's stuff tacked on. I don't like the way the characters kill.
I don't see how
this.
Film.
I don't see how. There it is.
No. What I'm saying, look, I know there's inconsistencies in every movie because you've got to tell a story within 4 hours. No,
even the best movies.
Within a short amount of time. But what I'm saying is that the inconsistencies aren't enough. That you can't go to someone like Matthew Vaughn and say, look, we want to make a Superman movie out of Henry Cavill. This is where he finished off in Justice League. You don't really need to know anything about him in Man of Steel and BVS, because he comes back as almost a completely different personality, really. So just take Henry Cavill, take the Superman from this, and run with it. And I really think people are shooting themselves in the foot. You're not just getting rid of Zack Snyder. You're getting rid of Amy Adams. You're getting rid of Henry Cavill,
who was useless in this movie.
You're making the DC look bad in terms of
it already looks bad.
Actors won't want to fuck with the DC. You're going to get crappy actors, crappy directors, crappy talent if you just, basically when Amy Adams came into Man of Steel, her career was in a better place than after Man of Steel. And you have to think about that. That's a lot of these actors. Jeremy Irons was thinking, I've got a franchise now to work with. A lot of these actors were thinking that, and you're just throwing them in the dustbin. And I think it's not a good look for Warner Brothers and DC. It's not good business. That's part of what my thinking on this. You should maybe maintain this universe. It's got enough fans. Enough fans, and a lot of people enjoyed this movie.
I agree. It's definitely not a good business plan, but I don't think it's a good business plan to keep releasing these inconsistent movies. Now, you're saying this movie itself doesn't have any inconsistencies, but I heard you talking about Hulk in Endgame and how stupid he was, and you were basing it off of how Hulk was in the past movies. So you have to base.
No, I wasn't. I was basing it on the fact I didn't like Hulk like that.
And you were saying they turned one of the smartest
characters. Professor X, Professor Hulk with Daps. It was dumb.
Well, but you also you mentioned that, and you agreed to he was one of the smartest characters, and they turned him into a comedic side character. You addressed that. You said that he was one of the smartest characters. You said the angrier he gets, the stronger he gets. You were addressing the comics, and you were saying that now they crapped on that. We can't look at these movies completely in a vacuum. We have to look at them based on the movies that came before. It's a team-up movie. And
so wait a second. No, that's a false equivalency though, dude. Like what I was saying about the Hulk is he was a bad character. If they made Professor Hulk tight, I would have liked him. He was just a bad character. Whether he was like the comics or not, I would have liked him if he was a tight character. He was a shit character. So of course I'm going to refer to the Hulk in the comics because I'm like, the Hulk in the comics is so much fucking cooler than the Hulk we're getting here. Why would you change it to something worse? That's my thinking.
That Superman wasn't great in this movie. He wasn't bad, okay? nobody was trash. Cyborg was really good in this movie. Borderline
Cyborg was
great.
really good.
Aquaman was okay.
I like
Batman was
Aquaman in this movie,
Batman
but he
was
wasn't great.
Batman was okay. If this is the only Batman movie you get, you don't know anything about him. Batman sucks if you don't look at who Batman is in the past movies. Like, he's barely in this movie.
I like the faith thing. I like the faith that he has faith in the team and stuff like that. It was like it was a good growth.
I just see that's the whole thing. I don't feel the growth. I don't like the writing. I don't like the way these characters are portrayed. Zack Snyder lingers on shots for too long. The woman, Aquaman simply swimming away, do a close up on a woman and she has to sing to him, stuff like that.
I think everyone on the planet, all 7 billion of us, collectively thought, you. There's nobody who tries to defend that scene. There is excess in Zack Snyder. There's no doubt about it. You can't, and I wouldn't even take that away. When I say control him, I wouldn't take things like that away, because I think with all the real good that you get with him, you have to take some of the bullshit. And that was whack. That was really weak. It was embarrassing. I don't know what. I think they were trying to make him out of some kind of sea god. I think that was what he was
like a deity at. That, like I say in my review,
like he's a deity. And where would he be a deity?
They sing his praises, but do we have to see them literally sing his praises? And then you know as well as me how much music can hurt or help a movie.
Advance the situation.
And just every song with lyrics in this movie just completely took me out of it. The Aquaman scene, the Flash scene. Amy Adams is walking down the street getting a cup of coffee.
No, I don't know what you're the Flash scene was tight. The rest of them were bullshit.
Dude, Amy Adams is walking down the street getting a cup of coffee and hola, hola, hola is playing. It was so ridiculous. And every time, like you said, Wonder Woman came in, you heard the music of the scene completely ruined the scene. Scenes were ruined.
Those are 4 scenes in the whole 4-hour movie.
The Wonder Woman yodeling.
The Wonder Woman thing. This is my thing.
That ruined 10 or 15 moments.
I know this is, and I'm kind of on the ropes. I'm on the rope-a-dope here with this Wonder Woman scene, right? Because my idea is like that Zack Snyder basically realized he didn't give Wonder Woman enough epic shit to do. So he tried to retroactively make Wonder Woman seem more epic by putting this music over everything she did, and it didn't make it more epic. What he needed to do, and I think that music would have been absolutely fine if she was just mowing through cats. If she was literally doing something epic, something that you'd expect Wonder Woman to do, that music would have been fine. It's just the fact that it emphasized so much that she wasn't really doing anything that cool. All right, she saved Batman a couple of times. That's not great. You want Wonder Woman to be going through like 10, 20 fucking parademons or something like that.
Dude, she could have done so much more. She only used her lasso one time to grab Steppenwolf. She could have lassoed him up and Aquaman could have stabbed him through the head before Superman got there.
Yeah, and she could have, like, literally, I didn't like the fact that Aquaman helped her there. I just was like, she was just too weak in this movie.
Aquaman had to come in and help her.
I thought her personality was on point throughout the movie. I liked her personality through the movie, but her reliance and like, oh, we need Superman, that's not something Wonder Woman would say. Just that she was tight up until almost Superman was introduced into the story. And you say everyone likes this scene, and I think it's the bad scene in Joss Whedon and it's bad scene in this movie is when Superman comes back and beats up the Justice League. I think, yeah, sure, Superman could win a fight against the Justice League. I don't mind that. But let them have a proper fight with him. I mean, it would be as if, Thor versus Iron Man in the Avengers. That was epic. They meet each other. Great. They have a little fight. It goes on for a bit long, it shows how clever Iron Man is, that he can in his ingenuity, pardon me,
Yeah.
to maneuver around this god and actually give him a good fight. And it never stepped over the line where you thought, oh, this could just completely never happen because, Thor was still overpowering him. Me Too songs were weak. Yeah. And why are you shitting on your guy, man? You're like, this is your guy for about 3 years. You're just shitting on him like this. Lois is more than
I think
that.
Lantern's
Lois
making some poignant points.
But yeah, I just thought that Wonder Woman definitely should have given Superman a better fight. I think that would have been a really good moment for women audiences as well. I think female audiences would have dug that. Little girls would have dug that. Oh, like Wonder Woman doesn't just get beat down by Superman. She can actually, give him a little bit of a fight. Yeah, Superman wins in the end, but at least we know that, she's really tough. She's really got some grit. And I think she should have done much, much better in that final scene. And I'm not just saying that as a Wonder Woman fan. I'm saying, like, Flash was redeemed for me. Flash pissed me off as well. I was like, come on, man. Like, Superman's just doing all of this stuff to you and you can't do anything. You can't, like, do a whirlwind or something to try and blow him away or something
Flash
like that.
did nothing. I mean, he's...
No. He was redeemed by the end of the movie.
No, I agree. But in that scene,
he's
not just fast. He's far faster than Superman. He's not just a little faster. Like, he still should have toyed with Superman. Like, Superman was far too overpowered in that scene. I agree.
Yeah, I thought that it should have been more of an Avengers style when they first meet Captain America, Thor, or Hulk versus Thor. Those
scenes. There's nothing in this movie as good as any of those scenes in Avengers.
Yeah, but that's because of Zack Snyder's obsession with Superman being just this big god thing. That's another thing. It can be corrected, though. I don't think any of these things can't be corrected to make the universe a little bit more fun. I'm telling you, man, Tower of Babel is the way to go after this movie.
I mean, he didn't do Tower of Babel at all, but there was hints of that in Batman Superman, like Batman thinking that Superman has to be in check, but he does it for the whole Justice League. Right.
You could say that as soon as Batman saw that he found the files on these characters, he immediately
made plans.
Right. So he didn't do it because it wouldn't make sense from doing it after Justice League because he's just started to trust them. Right. And he's saying he has faith in them. But if he did it before, when he first got the Lex Luthor files on them, right, that would make sense. Close in strength with Superman multiple times in comics, Aquaman as well. Yeah, absolutely.
I know you haven't read a lot of Aquaman, but in the recent Rebirth, there's a couple issues where he fights Superman, and I mean Superman beats him, but like he's not a bitch. Aquaman can go toe to toe with Superman. Except for the super speed and the lasers and the flying, but
No, I agree with that. Aquaman should have done better. All of them. I think the only person I didn't really care about was Cyborg.
I mean,
even Cyborg could have done something. He could have taken control of one of the tanks, right?
Yeah.
So that when Superman came after him, like the tank fired at Superman, and that Cyborg was controlling all the weapons around him. Do something like that just to show that. Yeah, he can. It was. A lot of people are like, oh, because Superman saw Flash, that scene was like epic. It wasn't fucking epic.
I like that moment.
I like that moment. I like that moment, but that's the only bit of it that the scene was good. That was good. I just didn't. I didn't like the scene at all. It wasn't. It was still better than in Joss Whedon's version. If you're gonna do Superman just beating up the Justice League, then that scene looked better than in Josh's version, right? So I could be like,
maybe
the way Flash was running back from Superman, like when he was trying to escape from Superman. What are you doing?
That's the Flash.
No. I'm talking about like they were.
He doesn't know how to run. Come on, I'm sorry, but. That might be a nitpick, but the damn guy doesn't know how to run, and that's his powers.
No, but I'm saying the way if you watch the scene again and you compare it with Joss Whedon's, you see them actually phasing through things. It's like it almost turned into like this gel-like thing in the background, so that you could see that they're moving so how fast they're moving. And I thought the way that was, again, visually displayed was really interesting.
But don't you think the way that the Flash runs is kind of stupid? Just, I mean,
no,
that's just
not at all.
a choice.
Not at all. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't understand why the internet has gone crazy over Flash's running. Like,
I'm not saying he has to run.
That's not the core of the character. For me, it's about the core of these characters, right?
I agree, and they suck.
No, they don't suck. I think they're absolutely on point. Look, I often try and do a thing, right? Like, if you were to describe Superman as what does he necessarily have to be Superman? Because there's going to be interpretations, right? There's going to be different interpretations of characters. Now, what does he necessarily have to be? What are the things that, are nice that you'd like, and what he definitely can't be? So for me, personally, Superman can't be a killer. That's a no-no for me as an interpretation. Superman has to be like quite incorruptible, right? That's one of the core tenets of Superman. He's raised by good parents. He's raised in Kansas. These are core facts about Superman. And then there are things that are just nice to have, like if he's, as Clark Kent, he's a little bit unbalanced, if you would say, like he's a little bit awkward or a little bit, whatever. I think those are things that are nice to have but aren't necessary. So I think people are being a little bit too precious about their interpretations. It's like, oh, Flash has to run in a particular way to be Flash. No, he doesn't. It's not, and he wasn't running so absurdly that it makes it a terrible version of Flash. Flash has always been, core, a funny, goofy kind of guy. Barry Allen is a little bit more serious than Wally West, but they've taken the best of Wally West and the best of Flash, and the best of Barry Allen, and they've mixed it together, and that makes sense for the films.
I'm saying, as someone who I'm not fast at all, but I've played sports. I love sports, and his one power is not his one, but his main power is running. And I've never seen anybody run like a duck like that. It's not conducive for running as fast as you can. If you look at
the whole point. He's a nerd. He's a nerd. Flash is not an athlete.
Then he's not Flash.
The power.
So you're saying
he's not Flash. So
he doesn't know how to run like this.
You're telling me Flash has to be an athlete for him to be Flash.
But in the comics,
that's a core characteristic of the character.
A core characteristic is him running like a human.
Actually, if you watch both the animated Flash cartoon and you watch and you read some of the comics, I can see where they're getting this running from, because that's actually how it looks when you see him run in some of these comics. It's not.
Now,
I'm not saying, in issue 566 that he ran like that. I'm not one of those people. I'm saying consistently you've seen Flash on the front pages, where he's running, and you see his arm out like this, right? And his body is kind of contorted in a weird. Yeah, and so I can see that that's probably what they were trying to capture in that running.
It's just
he even does it a couple of times in the animated thing. But look, okay, what do you want him to run like Usain Bolt? I just think he's a nerd. He's a geek. He's just trying to bring out the fact that he's not. Yes, it's almost like an irony thing, like that his one power is like he runs really fast, yet he's kind of goofy as even in running. I think
you're pulling that from the movie, but the movie doesn't show that eloquently enough. Look, you're a nerd. I'm a nerd. If we went outside right now and ran, we would run with our arms straight.
I ain't no nerd, man. I used to beat up nerds. No.
But I'm just saying, like, I kind of almost understand that maybe like he does his arms to kind of like control the Speed Force, but it's not explained. And that's just a little nitpick. I'm about to show you something. I'm about to share the screen.
All right. Let me show you something. I'm going to talk to Anthony Grimm's underneath.
Here we go. You're looking at... Oh, wait.
American Burgers?
Wait, 1 second. Sorry. Yeah, talk to
You're
Anthony
right.
Grooms.
The core characters is what's more important, but they can't even get something as simple as decent runs. So why expect them to get the core right? I don't understand. I don't understand what this thing is with the running. So are you trying to say you'd be happy with the character if he ran normally? So you'd be happy with Ezra Miller if he ran normally?
Hey, I like Ezra Miller.
All right,
he's great.
Let's send him a note. Run properly next time, and then he's fine.
Hey, Ezra Miller is fantastic in Perching and Wallflower. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. I don't mind him. But this, look at the screen. This is the pinnacle of the Flash's character. Which one of these hamburgers do you think that the 18-wheeler guy dropped when he hit Iris?
That one.
You think he a Royale with cheese? Which one of these hamburgers was he eating when that scene happened?
Honestly, the answer is I don't care.
I'm just fucking with you.
Where you're going with this, but like,
yeah, I'm just fucking with you. But it's like, what's like an iconic thing that Superman does? This, you know, he puts his arms out straight. You have an idea of what Superman should look like when he flies. If he flew like this, like. If he held his hands towards himself,
I wrote a Superman Sorry, I've now really opened up how much of a nerd I am. I write a lot, and I wrote a Superman story where I thought realistically Clark Kent is always like saw himself as an Earthling, right? Yeah. And the first time he flies, or the first times he's flying, through the first year, like I've got a Superman who's afraid of heights. He's really scared of flying high in the beginning, and when he first flies after like a police truck or something, he's bashing into walls. He's like somebody who's just like a toddler who's just learning to walk. Now, I see that when you're thinking about the reality of these characters, you have to be consistent with who they are. And the Barry Allen and the Flash in this, don't show me Barry Allen from the CW and try and make him out like he's good. He's a trash actor. He's way worse than Ezra Miller. Got, like almost zero personality.
I hate the CW shows. I didn't mean to do that.
All right, good. So
I'm trying to get a picture of him touching her face.
You can just maybe you can't actually
Here,
show it.
I just want some ambience to shake up our picture.
Okay, that's fine.
There we go. Well, I don't know what's happening.
I don't know why are you showing me that particular thing?
I don't know.
But anyway, look, we've gone like we're going right the way around, right? And
yeah. Why are we sticking so much on the Flash? The Flash was one of the best parts of the movie.
Exactly. I don't know what the issue is with.
I just think the running was stupid looking.
Look, the running was of a nerd. He was a geeky guy. You have to take, if you're not looking at
I'm
the
a nerd.
Character, yeah, but you're not a nerd like the guy in. You're a cool guy. You've got a wife. You've got like.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
No, I'm just saying you're not like awkward like he is.
Yeah.
Like in a young whippersnapper who doesn't really have a lot of belief in himself. He's clearly a beta male. Probably never played football on in the football team when he was a kid, or played baseball or catch with his dad. Clearly he didn't even have a dad around because he was in prison most of his life. So again, I can imagine that he would have been the science geeky kid who probably couldn't run properly. I don't, and now it's an irony. I think what would have helped, and I think you're right about this, what would have helped is if he had a Flash movie before this.
Definitely.
If
you can't make the Flash's first movie Flashpoint. You just can't.
Well, I'm saying even before this Justice League movie.
Yeah. I think each character needed a movie before
they needed a movie before this, and then it would have fleshed out why he's running like that. So you would have.
Definitely.
It would have been an endearing thing, but I can read that into the film that's why Barry's running like that. Clearly, it's because he's a geek. He doesn't, he's not a sporty person. He's not, it doesn't matter that he's now gained these Flash powers. It's the fact that he's this geeky kid on the inside.
Maybe you felt that way. I didn't, and The Flash and Cyborg were probably the two best characters in the movie. So I mean, I don't want to keep harping on Flash's running, but just the whole, you got Man of Steel, Batman, Superman, and then you go right into Justice League. Just it doesn't work. I don't care about these characters, no matter how many elongated shots of people's faces I see. The whole movie was too long. He added too much. And Gal Gadot, I forgot to say this. She is not a good actress. I don't believe her as Wonder Woman. That's a personal thing. She's so stiff. What does she say? I belong to no one. Like, her line delivery is so bad. I believe her physicality.
Her face too long.
I believe her physicality, but she looks like she tries to like pose.
Well,
like
what do you want to do? Reboot Wonder Woman? You want to?
I would love a new Wonder Woman. Oh hell yeah!
You'd like to recast Wonder Woman?
Let me tell you, the only ones that I would keep, I like Alfred. I actually think Ray Fisher. I think Ray Fisher
is actually pretty damn good. Sorry, let me just switch on my light so we go.
Okay. Let me reply to a comment. Let's see.
Yeah.
Flashpoint should be a sequel. Well, absolutely. I'm sorry, Lantern. How did the Parademon hit Barry? Look, I don't want to keep harping on Flash, but just in Flash in general, I've never understood how any of his villains ever land a blow on him, because he can see in super speed, like he can see people moving like this. Like, how does Captain Cold ever, like the Flashpoint in the animated movie? Captain Cold shoots the ground and Barry slips on it. He would see him reaching for the gun and the trigger, and he would just flick him before he could do it. I don't understand, like, how anybody ever lands a hit on Barry, ever. He's OP. Right. I think that's why they kept him out of the battle, because he could have easily just, like that, grabbed Steppenwolf's axe and cut his head off. Like, he could have ended the battle.
He could have ended the battle. I mean, you have to just suspend your disbelief in that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Imagine in this comic book universe that somehow they can do that kind of stuff. We would just look.
Bad characters, bad acting.
Bad characters, bad acting. Look, in the end, what I was going to say is that most people like these guys. I don't really see them. As much as you might dislike them, are you?
Most people?
Most people do. I think most people like Henry Cavill. I think most people.
I like Henry Cavill.
Well, you like Henry Cavill. There you go. So most people like Henry Cavill. Most people like Gal Gadot. Whether you like it or not, they do like Gal Gadot. I like Gal Gadot. I think you're right. She is a weak actress, and she shouldn't have been. In my opinion, she should have never been hired in the first place for this role. But since she's here, she's doing her best, and I think there's something genuine about her. It's kind of weird. Her charisma shines through. She's like one of those actresses where where her charisma and her charm shine through enough where it makes it okay somehow. I see her like an Arnold Schwarzenegger or The Rock or something like that.
Two actors that I can't stand.
Okay, fair enough. But a lot of people like them. I like a good Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
They're action heroes.
Whatever. They're action, and I think she's like a good female action heroine.
I think she has no charisma, dude.
Actress.
I think she has no charisma.
She has total charisma in Wonder Woman 1. I don't want to hear that. That's
maybe bullshit. A little bit.
She had a lot of charisma in Wonder Woman 1. And she has a lot of charisma when she does some of her sad scenes. Even in 1984, my favorite scene of her was when Steve was leaving and she just was in tears. I believed that. There's elements to her that work well enough that I can deal with another movie and her in another Justice League. I think after that, reboot Wonder Woman and start a new trilogy. But I can stand her for one more movie and another couple Justice League movies. Absolutely, or not even stand her. I think she's actually fairly good in the role because
but see, that's the
she
thing,
brings an exoticism to it. You do believe that she's from this otherworldly place, maybe because of the accent helps a lot. And yeah, I think she's pretty good actually.
But this is the thing.
For her acting range, she's pretty good.
We should want better. Like deserve these characters to be. I'm sorry. It's not like nitpicky to say these characters should be perfect. It's not like a comic book whine thing. I'm just whining. You have
not all the Avengers are perfect actors. I mean,
but they make it. Captain America, Iron Man. I wouldn't say Mark Ruffalo is a perfect Hulk or Thor's a perfect Thor.
He's terrible as Hulk. He's fucking awful. He's a good actor, but he's absolutely one of the worst. He's a worse casting than Gal Gadot. I'm sorry.
Hulk, I can see that.
Worse than she is at Wonder Woman.
Chris Evans is Captain America. Iron Man is one of the best castings I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Paul Rudd is fantastic as Ant-Man.
No, he isn't.
No, he isn't. Star-Lord, Chris Pratt is Star-Lord. Josh Brolin is Thanos. There's not one character in the DC that their character is that character. And
I would argue one.
Who do you think?
That if somebody can get the same performance out of Gal Gadot as they did in the Wonder Woman movie, then she is Wonder Woman. Two,
she's serviceable.
She's not serviceable. She's really good. That Wonder Woman 1984, the script completely let her down. In Wonder Woman and even in Batman v Superman, she was very, very good. And I liked her in this movie as well.
You're gonna trigger me.
But I would say
triggered.
The same. I would say the same as you're right, actually, the rest of them aren't really that good. Henry Cavill is okay as Superman. I'll give him that. And after seeing this movie, he is okay as Superman. Ezra Miller, I think he's a fine Flash. I don't think he is the Flash. He's not my perfect casting for the Flash, but he is a fine Flash. And you're right. The only person who I'd say is almost perfect for the role is definitely Cyborg Ray Fisher. Funnily enough, ironically enough, he's actually really, really good in the role.
You got to separate. See, look, I'm getting a lot of hate for my Ray Fisher video, my Ray Fisher rant, but I mean, I make a whole video about separating the art from the artist. Like, I don't care. Amber Heard, I made a video about her because she sucks in the Aquaman movie. She's so robotic. She's worse than Gal Gadot.
Everyone is bad in the Aquaman movie.
She's so bad. But she's also
the guy who plays Black Manta is bad. Good actors are bad in that movie.
Terrible.
Even fucking hell, what's his name? Volko.
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe isn't that great in that movie,
and
man.
Patrick, who plays Ocean Master, Patrick.
He's a good guy. He's who I would cast as Superman.
I could see that.
That's who I would have cast as, for Man of Steel, I would have cast him as Superman. I think he would have been perfect as Clark Kent, perfect as Superman.
I could definitely see him as an older Kingdom Come Superman. Which
no, he was young and good looking then, man.
Well, I'm saying now.
Oh, no. I'm saying back then when it was. But yeah, anyway. So he's a good actor.
Remind me to come back to Kingdom Come.
Yeah, I will. He was a good actor, but he was terrible in Aquaman. Patrick Wilson. He would have been a good Superman, a younger Superman. When he was younger, he would have been a good Superman. That's what I mean.
He would have needed to bulk up a bit because he's never really been in great shape. But
yeah. Do you remember him in Watchmen?
Yeah,
he was practically playing Clark Kent. I thought, dude, you've already done a real world Clark Kent.
He was good in Watchmen. He was really good.
Yep.
And dude,
he's good in everything he's in, apart from
Jackie. Is it Jackie Earle Haley? He was fantastic as Rorschach, dude. He was Rorschach.
Yeah, he was Rorschach. Yeah, you don't have any of those. But to be fair, in the MCU, I think you're gassing up the MCU too much. I am. I don't think Chris Evans is Captain America to me. He's all right. He's not all right. He's a very good actor, but he's not perfect for that role to me. The only person I would say is really, really perfect for their role, who really makes it be something more, I'd say Thanos, the guy who plays Thanos.
Yeah.
The guy who plays his servant, who I always like to shout out, the little one who's got telekinesis.
Ebony Maw.
Ebony Maw. Whoever acts as him is fantastic.
He's really good.
Iron Man is really good. Robert Downey Jr. But apart from that, I'm not a big fan of the castings of the Marvel, especially the core group. I don't think I don't think the guy who plays Thor is particularly good as Thor. I could see other people playing Thor. It's not like
I agree.
You know, I think a lot of people always do that, and you know, even someone like Jackman as Wolverine, everyone goes on like, oh, he was amazing. He was all right. He was all right as Wolverine. I'm not saying he's not a great actor. He is a great actor, and he did his best. But if I'm thinking of how I would translate Wolverine to the screen, I'm not like, oh, Jackman is. It's just because that's what we've seen. You know, that's why so many people go on like Gal Gadot is like the perfect Wonder Woman, because that's what we've seen.
Okay, but let me say this:
we can always cast better.
I don't think that every character is perfect, but you can balance that out with great storytelling and writing. I just don't see that in. I'm okay with having. I don't think Paul Rudd is perfect for Ant-Man.
He's not.
He's not even the Ant-Man that we wanted.
He's playing Paul Rudd. Let's be real.
But Paul Rudd is great. But like, if you write the movie well, you construct the universe well, you can overlook bad casting or just okay casting. If you have okay casting Wonder Woman and an okay to bad script, I didn't care about the characters. They didn't make me feel anything except
Wonder Woman 1 had a good script.
Wonder Woman. I'm not talking about Wonder Woman 1. That might be the best DCEU movie.
Yeah, it is.
As a whole.
Well, apart from this one, which is actually better than it.
Oh!
So. That's just.
You made my headphone fall out.
Goodbye, guys.
So, how much more time do you have here, Nerd Man?
I have time, but what I wanted to say is that.
Well, I just want to know how much time we have to.
I have time. It's up to you, but like what I wanted to say is maybe we should talk about. I want to come to some kind of conclusion about this film, because I feel like all we've done is just talk about different scenes and what we disliked and liked about it. I want to talk about what I like about it. Maybe that will be helpful, because I've never talked about that, and I want to do it quickly so that we can move on to this. Probably move on to the Anne Harnoff.
Yeah, we can move on to the future of this bullshit.
Yeah, the future. So, look, I don't think it's perfect. I really don't. We've talked about a lot of bad things that I agree with, and it definitely could use some improvement. But I just am talking about it as a launching off point for the DC, rather than scrap it and start a new DC with Zatanna, a Flashpoint movie, a Batman in a different universe. I don't see any coherence there that's any better than what we were left with at the end of this movie. Do I want Zack Snyder coming back and having going roughshod over this universe and being able to do anything he wants and allowing his fans to continue to bully people online and bully, their way into getting everything they want? Absolutely not. Do I want some nightmare film as a follow-up in which Wonder Woman, Lois Lane, and Harley Quinn, characters arguably more popular than their male counterparts, get killed off just to advance their story? Absolutely not. Those are not things that excite me or that I'm happy about. But what I do like about this, and why I do think I just want to give Zack Snyder one opportunity at a time. One opportunity at a time. It's like that kid who, he's usually bad in school, but he does something good, and you want to give him one more chance, right? One more chance at this. And I just think that if you give him the right story, I think Babel will suit him a lot. He's a big Batman fanboy. Clearly, he'll dig the idea of Batman being able to beat all of the Justice League. But give him that. Give him 6 months to go away and think of a story with it. Not him, sorry, a screenwriter.
Yeah.
A screenwriter. And then they can develop, together or something. and then let him come back and see what he pitches. That's all I want for now for Zack Snyder. Not to just, because I think he'll go to Marvel or he'll go to somewhere else, and he'll be able to make a good movie that will make $1 billion, and it will make DC look bad when their universe is starting off with Santana's and starting off trying to be like the MCU when they can't.
I honestly don't think that Marvel wants
humorous.
I don't think Marvel wants to touch Zack Snyder even if it's not his fault. Just after this whole fiasco,
I think you'll be shocked. He's a really hot property at the moment, and if someone like Kevin Feige will tell him what to do. He'll go no.
But will Zack? Will he listen? I mean, he couldn't listen to WB.
Zack listened in this movie. That's the thing that people don't understand. Before this movie even started shooting, he had already compromised with WB. They already told him we want to add some lighthearted stuff. All of the Flash stuff was him adding stuff to make it more lighthearted. He said it himself in the Vanity Fair interview. So he's controllable. He's tameable. I think he wants to direct these comic book movies so much that he will compromise a little bit. So I don't think he's untamable at all. And if he is, then yeah, let him go. If he can't deal with the Justice League not killing people and stuff like that, go away, Zack Snyder.
I think Zack Snyder needs to.
If you can't deal with, let's cut out some of your slow motion scenes, to make the movie speed up a bit. Go away. Just but just allow him to cut. Just don't throw him out into the wilderness like that, because he's going to make $1 billion movie in his next movie. I'm telling you, he's got a good following, and I don't think you should treat talent like that.
I don't know.
And expect that you're going to get good talent wanting to work with you. We are too spoiled as comic book fans. We think that, we can just shit on people, make their careers. I even think what we did to Cara Delevingne, who played the Enchantress. We shit on her so much. It was like, she just did a bad performance. Leave her alone. It was just a bad performance. Leave her alone.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Shit on her and bullied her and you're going to expect good people to want to come and work on these comic book movies? No, they won't. They're not going to want to work on it if we're this toxic and we're this horrible to our talent. And I think that's one of the things we have to cut all personal and emotional shit out of this. Think business only. And so what do I like about this movie? I love the family dynamics in this movie. And I said, DC is really about that. If you look at all of the different DC characters, it's about superpowered gods who have problems with their family, and they have, dysfunctional relationships with their parents. And this really, really delved deep into that. Each one of them had that with Aquaman and Mera and his mother, and, exploring that, and the way they talked about it. I thought it sounded epic. It sounded cool. I wanted to know what was this grand story that was going to happen. I know we've already seen Aquaman now, and it's not what James Wan originally wanted to do. You can clearly see that from this movie, but it sounded epic, at least in this movie. The same with the Flash, with his dad in prison. I liked those scenes. I liked, it did make me feel for the characters. All of the stuff. The one thing I hated was when Martha turned into Martian Manhunter, because I think it completely ruined the scene with Lois and Martha. But if you cut that Martian Manhunter scene, him turning into Martian Manhunter, I really liked Martha's thing in this, and I definitely love Cyborg's parents. So all of that stuff, Hippolyta did her thing in this as well, and the Amazons.
Their accents are terrible.
Well, okay, man. You hate everything.
Hey. Also, that's one thing that they made. All of them have these terrible accents.
I think they're fine. Most people are digging the Amazons. Okay, so in any case, I like that dynamic of that, and I like that he really captured that. I also like the as I said, the action is innovative. Where it is innovative, it's really, really innovative. And I want to see that expanded upon. I want to see that done even bigger next time.
Give me a couple examples of. I mean, I really, because I'm not seeing that. I want to know what you think was innovative about it.
Well, as I said, the way he just chose to depict superpowers. And usually, when we see superpowers in movies, they stick away from the hard superpowers, the difficult superpowers to represent. They really do tend to do that. So you'll only see, somebody shooting beams at each other. That's easy. You just stick a beam in CGI. Or, when you're representing a speedster, we're just going to slow down the thing and we'll see him moving things around and then floating around. It's nothing exciting visually to express how that might actually look in real life. If they were actually moving and acting in real life, doing these things. It was the same, you could see the currents of him, and this goes back to Man of Steel as well, of how he expresses superpowers in a very, very different way to other directors. And I want to see that expanded upon. I'm not saying it blew me away. Like there was maybe the Flash scene blew me away at the end, where the way he chose to visualize that, I thought was excellent. Some of the stuff where Flash was moving around, grabbing the rocks from the air, I was like, what is he even doing? I don't even know what he's doing. But that is how it would look if the Flash was moving in real life.
Yeah.
There was other things in between as well. Even the way he depicted Superman punching, the impact of him punching, I thought was kind of cool.
But we've seen that Man of Steel.
It was really comic. Yeah, but I'm saying that's what I'm saying. He, as a director, is able to do that. Now, why I didn't care about that before, like in Man of Steel, is because he was getting the characters so wrong that it pissed me off. And like he was making Superman in Man of Steel, Dr. Manhattan. That's basically what they were. They were the Watchmen. They were not the Justice League. In this movie, he put the Justice League in the movie. Yes, he's not. It's not our perfect, in our heads what we would do with Barry Allen, what we would do with Wonder Woman. But it was a version of them that I recognized. I saw each thing that they said, what they talked about, what they did, were things that they would say in the comics, were things that they would do in the comics. Bar the killing, were things that they would actually do. So I think that in itself, I think I liked about this movie. And I think you can move on from here with an actual Justice League, them acting and behaving and, being like this. And build the franchises out of this. It's not the perfect way to have started. It would have been better to do it the other way around. But since we did it arse backwards in a stupid way around, why just throw the baby out with the bathwater? Because get rid of this.
If you start ass backwards, the rest of the universe is going to smell like a fart. That's what it is. This movie, it's kind of like, I agree with you on the visual stuff. Like he makes some beautiful shots, dripping with imagination, with visual flair. But it's like eating an ice cream cone with sprinkles on it, and you're loving it. And then you get to the center, and it's like raw fish, or it's broccoli. It's a lot of sheen on hollow characters. Like how you feel about Man of Steel, that's how I feel about this movie. Like it's acceptable, it's okay, it's has some merit to it. This movie has merit to it. If we can come to...
You think that Cyborg is hollow in this movie? Well, the characterization...
He's literally hollow.
With his family. You don't think the love showed through in Henry Allen when he was expressing his love for his son?
Yeah, a couple good scenes in a 4-hour movie.
I could give you like 50 more, man. I'm just giving you a couple of examples.
Honestly, 10 to 15 of the scenes made me be like, okay, that's good, or that's great. Maybe a 1/10 of the movie. I don't. And you talk about his family. Silas Stone, every single time they cut back to the lab, that was unnecessary because any scene that wasn't building his relationship with his dad was wasted. I didn't care about him and Dr. Cho talking about lab stuff. That was so tacked on. This movie felt so long.
It was to show that that thing of when the mother box is that he wanted to superconduct the mother box. So it was slowly explaining that. Yeah, you could have cut a couple of those scenes out. I'm not gonna lie. You could have cut a couple of those scenes out. But I like Cho. I liked him. I
Man,
liked
when
it.
he was like,
I like the fact that he was little. He's going to be, little Ant-Man for the for the
Adam,
DC.
when he was
I
like,
liked it.
he's it's the hottest thing on the planet. That's what I told my prom date, and she broke up with me. I was like,
I thought that was funny.
What is this?
Endearing.
Like you always say, what is this, David S. Goyer? God.
David S. Goyer ain't that funny.
It's
sorry.
like when that
David
girl
S.
at the end
Goyer
of Man of Steel says, he's hot. Just
no, that's David S. Goyer style joke.
I know.
This at least had a punchline. It had a setup and a punchline. That one
Yeah,
he was
true.
just like, oh, let's just
But
I wasn't like, oh, chuckle. I just was I like him. He's kind of goofy. He's kind of like me. So he's a stupid guy, who makes stupid jokes. That's how I felt about him. We don't, in reality, none of us are like as quick as Chandler Bing or, like coming up with one-liners that are just like fire, like Iron Man or something like that. We make dumb jokes a lot of the time, and I thought that was a realistic, humanizing dumb joke. That's how I felt about it. I don't think you need to be like Quentin Tarantino, slick dialogue all the time. I think that's almost even screenwriters say Quentin Tarantino is one of the, even though he's a great writer, he's one of the worst people to actually learn from as a writer, because people don't speak like that, and it works for him. But most often, if you try and make everybody be the snappiest, coolest, funniest guy in the room, it's who has the coolest answer every time, it doesn't seem human.
I actually mentioned Tarantino in my review, that Snyder's kind of like Tarantino, where every Tarantino movie is good to great, but he's a little too Tarantino. He adds a little too much dialogue. He makes some scenes too long. His movies are, you can cut about 20 minutes out to make a perfect movie. I think Zack Snyder has that. Sure. I think there's a far better 3-hour movie in this movie. But if we can agree on something, I'm spitting. If we can come to some kind of agreement, I can agree that this movie has merit. I'm glad people got to see it who wanted to see it. I'm glad that he got to do it for his daughter. Because
I didn't want to see it, but not that I didn't want to see it. I didn't care. Like I know. So I'm not one of those people. I just happen to like it.
I'm glad that people who wanted to see it got to see it. There were some great visuals. I think the power dynamic was cool. There were some cool, like, yeah, that's badass visual moments. Yeah. Other than that, the character stuff was weak. The plotting, the pacing was bad. The music ruined almost every scene it was in.
The music was really good. Apart from the music video songs. The music.
I didn't care about the dynamic of the team. The team don't speak to each other. The team doesn't even speak to the villain. The villain was weak. The villain had a great design.
Who does speak to the villain?
Who does?
Don't they?
Batman and Superman, or I think Wonder Woman
says.
They
not speak to the villain. Exactly. Wonder Woman speaks to the villain. Yeah, thank you. You brought it up yourself.
One line.
Wonder Woman's one of the leaders of the Trinity. Obviously, she represents who's going to speak to him.
Iron Man.
No, you've invalidated your whole point.
No, I'm exaggerating.
Invalidated your own point. No. Wonder Woman speaks to Steph. No,
so
I'm joking.
They say one or two lines to the villain. There's no actual dialogue between the villain and the heroes. I did like Steppenwolf's the purple shine on his armor. I thought that was a beautiful little touch to add that purple.
Steppenwolf was cool. He had a good motivation. I should have.
He was boring though.
Like they tried. He was boring. I thought he had a good motivation. I actually felt a little bit sorry for him. Have you ever watched pathos there?
Have you ever watched Avatar: The Last Airbender?
No.
The villain, he is trying to be the villain in that show, Zuko. He something happened with his dad. He is banished, and he's trying to get back in his dad's graces. But it works in that show because he's 16, and it makes sense. This one, we don't know what he did to Darkseid. We don't know who Darkseid is. He's boring. He had tears in his eyes sometimes. I don't think he was a bad villain. He was better than the Joss Whedon version, but he wasn't
better than Zod.
I will fight you tooth and nail. Zod is one of the best comic book villains of all time.
I knew I was going to trigger you. I said it
my blood pressure, bro.
I said it just to trigger you, and you went for it.
I am triggered. Bro, I'm Ray Fisher triggered now, bro. No.
Okay.
He was good. There were a lot of elements that were really good to okay. but a lot of elements.
I thought he was a serviceable, decent villain. He wasn't, he was supposed to be like the guy to Darkseid. Zod is the best DC villain. He doesn't make sense. A lot of what he does doesn't make sense.
I agree with you, Superwise. Zod.
He's trying to change Earth into a planet that will make him lose all his powers. I don't understand him. I don't know why he'd want to do that.
He doesn't care about his powers.
What's his name? Sorry?
Zod doesn't care that he has powers.
Okay, well, whatever. If he doesn't care, he doesn't care. But I thought it was stupid. But let's not go into. We'll do a Man of Steel. We'll do a Man of Steel discussion another day. I think Michael Shannon is a good actor and he does it well.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. But I thought he was perfectly serviceable. I did feel a bit for him with finding out that his family, basically what happened. If you didn't notice, and maybe they should have shown this. You're right, but his family was the one who betrayed Darkseid. It was either his son or wife, or I don't know what it is. His family betrayed him, and he tried to stick up for his family. And that wasn't really. Yeah, I didn't really catch that. Yeah, I know. You'd miss it if you weren't focused a lot on it. But it really made me feel for him, and I think they should have shown that. I think that would have made it a lot better if they had shown like his family betraying, and then it's his family's on trial, and he wants to save them. But Darkseid basically tells him, like that's the ultimate betrayal. You should love me over your family, basically, or heed to my authority over your love for your family. And that's why he sent him to have to give him 50,000 worlds. So that was good. And I thought that was a really good motivation. What
do you think about Darkseid? Like just his inclusion in this movie. Why was he needed in this movie?
To set up the next movie.
Why wasn't he just the villain? Like, I didn't care about Steppenwolf because
why was Thanos in this? Why was Thanos in Avengers? I mean, why was Thanos in
one shot of Thanos?
Guardians of the Galaxy?
And guess what? I didn't in that movie. It took away from Ronan because I was thinking, I want to see them fight. Thanos is the real villain. I don't care about Ronan. Like you're giving us
Steppenwolf. Worse than Steppenwolf.
Oh
Ronan is worse than Steppenwolf.
I agree, but you're showing us Darkseid. Ooh, you see Darkseid uses Omega beams in the Vision. You see Darkseid in the end, but you see Darkseid in the flashback.
Yeah, it's teasing it. It was enough of its own movie that tease was fine. You wanted to see with them, and remember again, it's. I think a lot of this, because we've seen the Whedon cut, that ruins a lot of the movie for you because you're like, oh, it's not that much. It's not that.
That's a great point.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking at a lot of these scenes, and I was hoping that Superman, Justice League scene would be extended. And it was kind of like that's disappointing. So the only difference between the scenes is like Superman gets shot in the face, and there's a couple of extra little beats here. It's not, but if I had seen that scene clean, and I'd never seen the Josh Whedon version before, I'd be judging it on its own merit, and I think that's half the problem of this film. We can't judge the epicness of its own, of what the people are doing. Like people are saying Batman didn't do anything in this movie. No, Batman didn't do anything more in this movie. That's what happened. Batman actually did a lot of epic shit. He went with the ship to destroy the shield, to the dome.
That was very lame.
That's lame because it was going to happen from the former movie.
I don't remember that moment. From the former movie sucked. No, I'm just like, dude, I totally forgot the last movie. It was doo-doo dog shit.
But look. My point is,
human missiles could take down an alien shield.
Let me explain my point, just so that we're clear.
No,
Batman does things in this movie, right?
Yeah.
In that final battle, he does a lot, but he doesn't do anything different from what he did in the Josh Whedon version. So when people, yeah, but that's trash.
He gets on an alien turret.
He goes on an alien turret. But okay, so because of that, we we as an audience, we've already seen that. We're looking for Batman to do more stuff than we saw in the original cut. And because he doesn't, that's why we judge like, oh, Batman didn't do anything in the last battle. But he did do a lot in the last battle, you know? And I think even Aquaman, he had that whole big scene of him surfing on the parademons, beating them up. We saw that in the Joss Whedon cut. So we're like, Aquaman didn't have a great action scene. He did have a great action scene. We just seen it already. That's the whole problem with having seen the Whedon cut. We wanted extra stuff. You know, we can never judge this movie on its own merit. We can never judge it from like completely fresh eyes and see actually each one of them really did add to that fight at the end. It's just we saw it in the other one and we wanted more. So now you can respond to that.
I will concede this. I mean, you got to admit that if the 2017 movie never came out and this movie came out in 2017, a 3-hour version or whatever they let in the theater,
better,
and we had never seen any of this footage, yeah, it would have been a lot better. Like, a part of the reason this movie is not great is because it's 4 years late. It breaks continuity. It doesn't make sense for other things that happen in other movies. I can concede that. It would probably be a 7 out of 10 for me. Okay. I still don't like a lot of the characters, but like if I would have seen this, because a lot of it I was thinking, this is just kind of boring. It would have been better if it was released back then. But dude, Aquaman doesn't manipulate water at all. His one power that makes him, you say that he makes inventive action sequences, and I agree to a point, but the one thing that Aquaman does that makes him different than everybody else, he doesn't do in the final battle.
He manipulates water
one time in the tunnel.
The thing. But look, to be fair,
what makes him different than Wonder Woman in the final battle?
If we found a way for Aquaman to use that power, because he does fight Steppenwolf as well in Under the Water, so he's fighting Steppenwolf with his water powers, and
he never makes a ball
underwater. But what I'm saying is, if we found a way, you know, people would complain about that. They'll be like, "Oh, he was nowhere near the sea," or "Why would they have got?" You know, they just made that sea be near the sea just so that they could include Aquaman in the fight. It's like,
someone's gonna
let him do all his quack shit in his own movie. Because I wouldn't have Aquaman in the movie. If it was me, I'd have Green Lantern and I'd have Martian Manhunter instead. I've always found Aquaman weird. I'm so sorry. I know he's one of your favorite heroes.
Not only are you a villain and a bad person, you're a racist, you're a bigot,
I'm not only a thief, I'm a murderer as well.
Everything.
A braggart. But yeah, no, if they had have added some sea action scene thing, it just wouldn't have worked, because it would have had to be so artificial to put how. You know, like
make an ocean a mile away.
Oh, come on, man! It's just let's have them fight in the water. It's like he's got other powers. Aquaman has strength. He's a bit of a warrior. I don't like Aquaman because I think Aquaman and Cyborg invalidate Wonder Woman and Batman. They make Wonder Woman and Batman less special by being on the team. And that's why I don't like them as the dynamic. Whereas if you have Green Lantern, he's doing something completely different to Wonder Woman. And, Batman is the gadgets guy. So that takes away... No, he is. That takes away everything epic Batman could do. Batman should have been the one to fix his jet thing, Dude, that
was so stupid.
It was like having Cyborg do that. It's like, you're just taking
Bruce
away
Wayne
from the coolest.
Couldn't make a jet to carry 7 people fly. Are you kidding me? That was, and then they make it this big plot point. Like when they do fix it, he's like, the ship's fixed, and the music swells. You should have done that earlier.
But the music was good. I'm sorry, people talking about the score. The score was actually good. Was it the greatest score of all time? Well, I don't include the pop music in the score. I'm talking about the original score of this movie was good. There was nothing it was a good score. I thought definitely during that moment where Cyborg is helping that woman who is his son, or whatever. She's got a son and she gives to the homeless or whatever, the waitress, and he sees her life. and wants to help her by giving her some money. The music behind that was sumptuous. It was beautiful. That was a really good soundtrack. The Junkie XL score was dope. Yeah.
What about that hard
is,
rock song when they're studio up and dun, 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 like hard rock music is playing? Zack Snyder once again
there's
showing
some bad music in the Avengers movies as well. It's very, very bland in the Avengers movies.
Oh,
And everybody loves that.
Everybody knows that. Dun, 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 dun. That's a beautiful theme, and it plays twice.
Wait a second. Sorry, like that's the only theme that's good of the Avengers and in the whole of the MCU.
And it's one of the most iconic songs of all time. I'm not saying
it isn't. Oh, come get out of here. That's one of all the themes across movies. I remember Jurassic Park more than that. Is better than that.
It's in the top 100.
It's not in the top. No, it isn't. I really don't think so.
You can name 99 better single songs than the Avengers
The
theme.
Godfather's better than that. It's more iconic. Superman's more iconic. Star Wars is more iconic.
Yeah.
There's so many better themes than that one in the Avengers of major franchises. I'm sorry, like it's bargain basement. It's just no. What I'm saying, because they're all good, but I'm talking about of the iconic themes. It's not one of the top iconic themes at all for me. I really think it's it's all right. But having said that, I like it. I like it.
Right now, can you hum any of Junkie XL's score right now?
No, because I haven't heard it millions of times like I've had the Avengers. I mean,
that's fair.
I've only seen the film like once, basically, or twice now.
That's fair.
But yeah, okay. We're not going to convince each other.
No, look, you can admit that there are some flaws, and I can admit that there are some good things. I mean, and I don't like to judge movies.
My main thing, though, is not about whether I like it or whether you like it. I'm saying, can we agree that a lot of people like this film? It's not like the minority dislike it. I'm sorry. If you look at
I can
bring up the IMDb, bring up the Rotten Tomatoes. So why on earth, after having a film that so many people like, would you just be like, fuck that, we're not going to do that. We're going to continue on with Birds of Prey. I don't care what you say. This is Birds of Prey is trash. And the Wonder Woman 84, terrible. If that's what this is miles better than anything that they're doing. Again, I completely agree with everyone. The epilogue is trash. Why not send that out as a unified message to Warner Brothers as opposed to, all of this like, oh, we hate Zack Snyder, we love it. It's like, all of this is just, I think it's just too much. It's an over-exaggeration of the bad in this movie. It's an over-exaggeration of the good of this movie as well. Everyone's like, oh, it's a masterpiece, it's the best film. No, it's because we've been in lockdown for ages and we've just seen a movie and I even did it myself. I gassed it up way more than it was until I watched it the second time and I was like, okay, I can see some of the things here, some of the problems here. But anyway, sorry.
I agree. Like, I like to watch a movie 2 times before I really judge it. I just don't want to watch that again, but I will at some point. But can you also agree that yes, the reviews are really good, but we need to address that Snyder fans are very ravenous. They are very vocal. More people are going to go give it a great review on Rotten Tomatoes than people who don't really care, who are like, I don't really care about reviewing this. They're more vocal. And if there were really that many people who were fans of this universe, like you said in your video, Batman vs. Superman would have made like $1.5 billion. I would love to see, like, because HBO Max, they know how many people watch the movie. Maybe not that subscribe to HBO Max from this movie, but give us the number for how many people, me included.
I think it did well.
I wonder
well, and I don't
if it would equate to making $1 billion.
I think it did very well, but I'll tell you this. The Snyder fans, if you don't get this universe and if you don't get sequels to these movies, and if Snyder never directs another DC movie, these toxic Snyder fans, it's your fault. Okay?
Oh,
I'm sticking up for it. I'm sticking up for it because I like the movie personally, and I think he did. I think he did quite well, and I think a lot of people like it, even beyond those rabid Snyder fans. But I am telling you, believe it or not, that there are a group of these Snyder fans who are just absolute. I couldn't believe it. I don't ask me why. I wasn't looking at Gal Gadot's Twitter or anything. I just somehow clicked on something that was on my Twitter thing, and I saw, she just announced her pregnancy, and literally there were Snyder fans in that thread where she just announced her pregnancy, and I just happened to see it. I don't care if Gal Gadot's pregnant or not. It's of no interest to me. I just happened to see, as I clicked on it, that there was quite a few people going, "Oh, why haven't you retweeted about the Snyder Cut or tweeted about the Snyder Cut after the woman just announced her pregnancy?" These people hassle and bother and harass these execs. So I'm upset that we won't get the Snyder. I'm upset that I think the DC is actually going to go to shit because they're going to be focusing on Santana and trying to make movies like the MCU when they're no good at that. I'm upset about that. But if you want to look at who's to blame as the major, I'm not talking about all Snyder fans, I'm talking about some of them. Look in the fucking mirror.
So I was going to
harass and bully people. Yeah, go on.
I was going to ask you if, I wrote it down, do you think that the whole announcement of Snyderverse is over, we're moving past it, do you think that the talks, I guess you just answered it, but that the fans that are ravenous, the assholes out there, do you think that they're thinking we can't allow them to be like that anymore? We got to shut this down. Like, they were a major factor in the reason why the Snyderverse is shut down. Do you think that's a big factor or just a little factor?
I think it's a massive factor. I think it's the factor. I'm not even
lying. I agree.
I really think it's the factor. I think when they started going after Walter Hamada and after Toby Emmerich, all of those guys, I think they just were like, instead of you going, wow, I know they're doing it for their own selfish reasons. They're a company, so they wanted more HBO subscriptions. But you know what? They actually decided to release the Snyder Cut and give him $70 million to continue this over-bloated monstrosity, as far as we knew of what it was before we actually saw it, to actually finish his vision. And the first thing you do is attack the people who did this for you, or who did this. They didn't do it for you, but they did this, and it's what you wanted. You couldn't ask after that politely, "Oh, this is great. You know what? If it's good, can we see more of these movies? Can we maybe the Ayer cut, see what that's like?" They probably would have done it, but they realized once they let these people, gave them what they wanted, you saw what happened. And Ray Fisher as well, he's continued on Twitter. I mean, you should see this tweet. The judge that he sent the recording of, who said that, "Oh, you're a nice guy, Ray Fisher, you've come on time, you've done all this." The same judge has come out and said, absolutely not. There wasn't any racism. There wasn't anything. The reason that they cut all the people of color was nothing to do with race. It was to do, I've done a deep investigation into this, and it was to do with obviously taking a 4-hour movie to a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
Would you want to cut Batman? You want to cut Wonder Woman?
And guess what, dude? I've been anticipating you bringing up Ray Fisher. I don't want to talk, ad nauseum about him, but he's people have been fighting me about all the circumstantial evidence. Dude, Joss Whedon's such a bad guy. He's an asshole on other sets. Don't you know? It's clear. But him being an asshole on the set of Buffy, that doesn't correlate to what he did in this movie. Ray said, I'm not making this shit up. I'm going by what Ray says. He says that they removed all black people from the movie, which is a lie because he is black. Silas Stone is black. I don't care if that's a stupid little point, but he lied. They didn't remove all black people. Guess what? Jason Momoa is a person of color. If you really want to count it, Gal Gadot is a person of color.
Not really, but yeah.
Some people would count it.
Yeah.
Some people would count Israeli. I don't, but some people say it's an argument. I don't. What do you think about Jewish people not being white? I think they're white.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think
Ezra Miller's Jewish.
There's racial distinction you can see in some
he's acting
Jewish
like there's
people
only black and white. 3 of the main leads in this movie are not purely white. So he's lying. It's not like they cut out Aquaman and recast him to make him white and blonde. He is exaggerating. And like you're saying, he's not bringing any pure proof evidence. He supported the investigation, and then now he's shitting on.
Can you do me a favor? Can you bring up the Twitter of him? I even sent you a link of what he said today. Because
keep talking about it while I pull it up.
No, I will. So all I'm saying is that I hope, for the sake of the DC, that we do find a way to keep good directors, because I do think, obviously, Philosophical Pickle disagrees with me, but I do think that there's some value in keeping Snyder around. But again, I hope we are able to keep him. But again, I can't see anyone more to blame than the people who've actually, led to this situation in the first place. I'm telling you, I don't think it's anything to do with a business thing. I think the Snyder Cut has done well. I think they decided before the Snyder Cut came out, no matter what happens, they are not giving in to this mob anymore.
I agree.
They are not giving in. So that's...
One sec. How do I... Oh, what am I doing? All right, here we go. Here are his tweets, the most recent ones. He retweeted this earlier, or it's a pinned tweet. I don't know what that means.
So I think it's go to tweets and replies, and then go down a little bit.
Here we go. 3 hours ago, Warner Media declined Variety's request for comment on Fisher's tweets, and he says, "I bet they did."
Yeah. Well, what? Warner Media declined Variety's request for comment on it. So go down.
All right. So we got his final thought.
Can you read it out? Because I can't see it from my perspective. All right, cool. Yeah, if you go to the side a little bit. Yeah.
Boom. All right. This was 15 hours ago. How about we start telling people what they did do? The public is a lot smarter than what you're giving them credit for. The proof is there. But so he's accusing professional investigators of hiding proof. This is a conspiracy against him. And if
so
it
wait
is,
a second, but this is the judge. He put the recording out.
Yes,
to say that this judge was like in his way, and we all said, why don't you show the whole tape? You can't just send a little snippet where the judge is saying, yeah, you came on time. Basically, you weren't late.
He took what made him look good.
Yeah, exactly. That was terrible. So again, you go down. This is encouraging these guys to go off to Jeff Johns, to Walter Hamada, and continue to harass them. These tweets. So, and then you're going to wonder why your Snyderverse doesn't continue. So I think it's 2. You go to is 2 or 5 below or above? All right. So you go to 1. So go to number 1. If you go to it should be 1 of 5. Yeah, there we go. So apparently some folks at Warner Media think that a room full of executives saying we can't.
Sorry.
We can't an angry black
Holy
man.
Shit.
I'm fucking up there, man. Your directing is this
hey, I'm no Zack Snyder, bro.
Mediocre. No.
Oh no. I've lost it. Oh.
1 of 5. It's 1 of 5.
Okay. Here we go.
There you go. So we can't an angry black man of the center. I think he means we can't have an angry black man at the center of the movie. And then removing all black and people of color from the movie.
All black people of color. You're lying, Ray. That's a lie.
It's a blatant lie. Isn't racist. So first of all, are you trying to say a room full of people in chorus said We can't have an angry black man at the center of the movie. And then Emmerich said it as well. Then Jeff Johns sang, no, one person said that. If anybody, because you heard it from hearsay. One person said it, the rest of them listened and probably felt uncomfortable or whatever. So one of them said it, if it was said at all.
He wasn't even in the room when it was said. He heard that from somebody else.
He heard it from somebody else, and he's taken it as Bible fact. Do we know that has any of them admitted to that? Is there any proof? Is there recordings? Is there minutes from the meeting where it's categorically proven that they said that? And also, what does he mean by that? Okay, because I think 90% of the ways you can mean that is something really nefarious and terrible. Yeah, or maybe even 80%. But there is 20% of the ways you can mean that. That might just mean he means we can't actually have an angry black man at the center of this movie because people might be offended by that. I can't see how you'd get that from the movie I saw. So I'm more leaning towards that's probably a bad thing that they said. Right, but is that the only thing that's ever happened to him in terms of race? Because the removing people of color, that's a lie. So that already makes you,
That's why we can't believe him, because we can point out tweets where he is lying, even if it's a small lie. He's lied multiple times.
Yeah. So let's go on to the next tweet. Do you have anything to say about that tweet?
Nah. I mean, that's basically it. I mean, it's
Fish is sour. He got fired for lying. He had claimed, and he's the best person in the movie, which is really sad. Like universally, I like Ezra Miller more in the movie, but universally, people are saying he's the best thing in the movie.
Like you say,
he's claimed to accuse without any solid evidence. It's funny how Ray used examples one time, but then hasn't used them again, like the barber story. Exactly. It's like it's a complete changing story.
See, that was his first ever allegation of anything that was of any detail, was that his barber didn't get credited in the Joss Whedon cut when they didn't have to credit him. And that was like racist because you're keeping a black guy down. That was the first thing.
Yeah.
And on this one, I mean, the mouse is messed up where every time I try to scroll, it zooms in. Even let's say that he did say, we can't let an angry black man be the center of the movie. Maybe, yes, that is tone deaf and that is dumb to say, but maybe he's saying, hey, we can't perpetuate the stereotype of the angry black man.
Right.
That's the thing. I can't say what he said. You can't say what he said, Ray, because guess what? You were as close to it as I was, not in the room. So let's continue.
Right. And to be fair, I think that's pretty bad. But I think that's more like a warning bad. That's more go-to sensitivity training bad. That's not like he called the N-word and said, if he said you can't have a black man at the center of this movie, then you've got a problem.
Or if he said, man, we have too many black people in this movie, we need to kind of tone it down. I mean, who said that? And then he said that they were lighting up people's skin because I guess they don't.
He came in with a hood, like a white hood.
They were insinuating
he was wearing like.
Guys, don't let Ray hear. Don't let this get back to Ray. But really, there are too many. The three black people that Zack casted, which that's the thing. If you want to be all up on Zack's balls, Ray Fisher, Zack is his boy. He gave him his first big break. I understand why he's mad, but if you really want to get mad, why aren't you mad that Zack Snyder only casted 2 main characters as black people? Iris is a side character. Cho is a side character. Who else?
The mother as well. His mother.
She was in one scene. She's a side. How many main characters were black? How many main characters? I'm saying, like, he made all the black people side characters. Like, okay,
yeah, the ones on Themyscira. He didn't. None of the almost. One of the 2 of the Themyscirans had lines. Black characters had lines.
Well, I will say why did it have to be the black one that was so stupid to go up and touch the evil box? That was so dumb. It's glowing with this evil power, and she goes and just has to touch it. I hate that trope in movies.
Yeah.
When people, but yeah, you continue to. I don't have a ton of thoughts on Rey. And I know you have.
All I wanted to say is this: that if you look at these kind of tweets, this is encouraging toxic behavior, and then you're going to wonder why Warner Brothers doesn't want to continue with this. And the behavior, I've had some of it, I've seen it. They continually target directors during the Wonder Woman 1984, during Birds of Prey. They were targeting directors saying, oh, release the Snyder Cut. They're trying to promote their own movies, and they're doing all of this stuff. Oh, can you promote the Snyder Cut? What do you think of the Snyder Cut? It was complete harassment of these people. And you cannot, you can't now be amazed that is it Anna Hanoff or what is it? So Anna Hanoff?
I forgot.
But anyway, now it's coming out and saying in absolute terms, no, we're not doing, because I don't think it would cost them anything to put out the Aya cut. And I'd like to see it.
A few
wouldn't
million.
Cost them anything.
All they really have to do is just re-edit it. I mean, they cut some Joker, but
I think he edited his own movie because they showed it to audiences already. He had test audiences see the Suicide Squad. It's not like the Justice League where it was not finished. The Aya cut is completely done.
Yeah, but
so
also,
I don't think it's going to cost them anything.
You're
so
talking
they just
about,
don't want to do it.
I agree, and you're talking. They want to destroy this universe, like you said. But the Ray Fisher thing also opens up. I know Momoa came out in support of him, and the girl who played Iris West, she said, "I stand with Ray Fisher," but that's it. But Ben Affleck, Ezra Miller, every single person in the movie, they now get tweets saying, "Why aren't you out there supporting Ray? Why aren't you supporting Ray?" Like, it's not their job. Maybe they didn't see anything. Now they're going to get harassed because they're not hashtagging Borg life. So the fandom. I have never ever in my life seen a fandom so. I don't like to use the word toxic, but toxic. Not all of them, not even the majority. But I've never seen so many vile fans that just hate people if they don't agree with them than the Snyderverse. It's unbelievable. Why can't we just look at the evidence, look at the facts, and say, okay, this is what I believe, this is what I like. Why am I a bad person, or are you a bad person? And if you don't agree with everything Ray says, is it because he's black and we have to? Is that the world that we live in now? We have to believe.
They don't care about racism. Those guys do not give a fuck, and that's one of the things that really offends me about it. Because these guys don't care about racism. They don't care about the races. If I told them about racism in my face, these Snyder people who
the white
they don't really care. They care about it insofar as they think in some deluded way it would help them towards getting Walter Hamada fired and getting Jeff Johns fired and getting everybody they think is an enemy of Snyder out of the way. That's why they were doing it. They didn't care. If I've said this before, if Ray Fisher had accused Zack Snyder of the same thing, these guys would be crucifying Ray Fisher. Where's the evidence, Ray Fisher? Where's the evidence that Zack Snyder did this to you?
That's a great point.
If he did this to them, they would be hating him. And it's bullshit. They don't give a shit about Ray Fisher or any racism he's faced at any point in his life. They just want their movie and they want their universe restored. And
if the Joss Whedon version came out, let's say Joss Whedon came in and reshot some of it, and it came out a masterpiece, would they be attacking Joss Whedon as much, or do they actually care? Do they actually care because the movie wasn't what they wanted, and that's a part of it?
No, but I bet you they would say, if that was the scenario, they'd be saying, "Oh, it's Zack Snyder's movie. It's because Zack Snyder did that. It was just all what's his name did is put it together." It's constant, I've gone back and forth with them on Man of Steel, on BVS, and said, look, no matter what you want to say, whether you like it, you don't like it, that it underperformed. And it hurt the franchise. It really did. You can't understand the damage that it did whether there was something off in terms of it appealing to mass audiences. I like BVS, and I recognize that about it. You know.
And what is this about? I mean, yeah. Hashtag stop Asian hate just randomly yesterday. I mean,
what?
He just tweeted this, hashtag stop Asian hate. Like, he keeps jumping on these different movements. I think we can all agree. Stop Asian, black, white, any race. Stop every hate of any race. Stop jumping on these movements. Walter Hamada is a person of color.
Ray Fisher is a definite. I mean, I don't like using the term a lot, but he's a definite SJW. He's a complete social justice warrior, and they believe in social justice, and this is where it gets toxic with social justice warriors, because there's nothing wrong with being after social justice. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
you should want justice for, but where they become toxic is where they think they can do anything to get what they want. So they'll even do immoral things to stop what they perceive as racism, or to stop what they will see as sex. So for instance, they'll be like, oh, the Me Too generation. It's like, I believe, obviously, we don't want women attacked. We don't want violence against women. We don't want women abused and in unfair power dynamics. But we still need due process. You still need to be innocent until proven guilty. You can't just make 4-part documentaries or whatever, slandering somebody with no evidence, or just showing the prosecution side without showing a defense side and being balanced. These are the things. They do immoral things in order to achieve what they see as ultimately virtuous. And I think that this is Ray Fisher all over. It's like, and seeing offense everywhere, being extra sensitive to see offense everywhere. Some people just don't know things. If you talk to a 70-year-old woman, right, she might not understand, all of the things around trans people, all of the politics and stuff like that around trans women. So if she asks something, she might be curious as opposed to be trying to hate on a trans person. Do you know what I mean? It's contextual.
Yeah.
Some people just don't understand these things. But anyway.
And it, like right here, he says, getting a second chance to bring a film to life while playing a character that gets a second chance at life is kind of trippy. Like, that's great. Like, that's awesome. I mean, right? Like, it's not trippy, but like, that's great that you got to do it, man. But then Zack Snyder's Justice League stands as proof of and opposition to discrimination. A over E. I mean,
Zack Snyder's not even retweeting the man.
That's true. What I'm saying? He worships Zack Snyder, and Zack Snyder doesn't always play
Zack
ball with
Snyder,
him.
None of them are retweeting him. They're done with him.
I mean, Jason Momoa, I looked it up. He was the only one who actually came out with a statement supporting him, saying this needs to be investigated. What happened? Everybody else, nothing.
And what happened? Has he said anything since? He was doing it for his buddy.
It was months ago.
He was doing it for his buddy.
Yeah, it's
sticking up for him.
The whole DC universe is just, it's so mishandled. It's so, like, one second, let me share the screen. I'm about to share the movie slate that they just announced. So yeah. I think
let's talk about the movie slate, and then I do have to go in about 20 minutes.
All right, man. So here we go. I wrote this down. The original 2014 DC announcement, because they wanted to kind of play ball with Marvel. They announced Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Aquaman, Shazam, Justice League 1, Justice League 2, Cyborg, and Green Lantern. Now, out of those
that's a fucking slate, bro. Sorry, that's a good slate.
Oh, I agree. And out of these 9 movies, only 5 of them came to fruition. So almost half of the movies they announced didn't happen. Or, let me look. 1 of them didn't come out the year it was supposed to. But 4 out of 9. Imagine if Marvel did that. Not to keep comparing, but like seriously, like The only movie they've ever announced was Inhumans that actually just got changed to a TV show. And movies get pushed back, but they've never announced a movie and then just went, nope, it's not happening.
But that's why I'm saying that if the Snyder Cut is popular, use it as a platform to get back to that slate, which is a fire slate. Let's get back to that slate. That's all I'm saying. Use that as a platform to get back to that slate. You know, I'd give Snyder Green Lantern. You know what I'm saying? That won't offend anyone, because Green Lantern it's not like, no one cares if Hal Jordan kills or if it's just, well, maybe they would actually depend.
I think it's against the Lantern code to kill people if you don't have to.
Oh, is it? Well, all right. I don't know enough about Lantern stuff, but I'm just saying that it's one of those mythologies that hasn't been iconic in film, so people aren't going to be comparing it to Christopher Reeves or Michael Keaton.
Or Linda
all
Carter, they have to compare it to is the trash movie.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he'd have more leeway and more imagination. I'd get him on a Green Lantern. But my point is this slate is messy as shit. And I don't even know what is going on. There's bat wheels, there's super pets, there's the movies, like Green Lantern, that isn't a movie. It's an
HBO show.
Berlanti TV show.
Yeah. Peacemaker's a show, I think.
Peacemaker, I don't give a shit about. I don't give
Harley
a shit
Quinn's
about,
a show.
Harley Quinn's a good show, but that's an animated show. The Blue Beetle, fine. If you're setting up for a Young Justice movie, I guess you could use Blue Beetle to be the first person. But you're right. You said it yourself. You said it's like doing Guardians of the Galaxy before like the first beginning of the slate, right?
Yeah. Like, why are you doing? Look, Static is cool. Blue Beetle. Why are we getting a Black Adam or Blue Beetle movie before Green motherfucking Lantern or Martian Manhunter or Green Arrow?
They'll make much more money, and there's diversity in that as well. You know, you can have a diverse casting for Green Lantern. You could John Stewart. You can have diversity for the Martian Manhunter with him being black. Like, and you can. There's so many characters that are. And maybe it's just me. Maybe younger audiences really do like all of these Blue Beetle and Static Shock, but I've never, they're not characters that I thought were important to building a universe.
Hey, he said he doesn't know enough about Green Lantern. Why is he on this YouTube show? I don't know if he was referring to you or me. I mean, I don't know.
I think he's saying me, that I don't know enough about Green Lantern.
I don't know.
Green Lantern isn't one of my favorite superheroes, so
I don't know a lot of characters.
I don't know a lot about him, but you can ask me pretty much any question about Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Flash, Shazam. I know these characters very, very well. So Green Lantern is just something I didn't delve into.
There are a ton of characters I don't know about, and there are a bunch of characters that I read their comics a lot, and then I just kind of fell out the past couple years. Like I can't tell you much about Wonder Woman, but exactly. I mean I know a little about Green Lantern, Aquaman, Batman.
So what does this say? Even if Flash restarts the entire DCU, there's still tons of alternate universe projects. That's another thing. Everything is all over the place. Warner Brothers is doing this when they don't even have their main universe in order. Dude, that's another thing I'm talking about. Do a solo Superman movie after this Justice League movie, and then you could do a Red Sun movie.
Yeah.
You could do Kingdom Come. You could do a lot of stuff coming out. You wanted to tell me something about Kingdom Come, actually.
I was going to tell Lantern 28114 that I see he has the Green Lantern from Kingdom Come as his picture, so I'm guessing he likes Green Lantern.
No, he's a big Green Lantern fan.
And Kingdom Come is one of my it's in my top 3 favorite comics of all time. But that reminded me that in this movie, in the flashback scene when the Green Lantern is there, it just really pissed me off. Not to get back to the movie, but it pissed me off, and I want to see what Lantern says about this. That he doesn't make a single construct. The one thing that Lanterns can do, use the ring for their imagination. He doesn't use it at all. All he does is shoot beams. He doesn't.
He does a hammer.
No, in the Joss Whedon version. In this version, I watched it. He didn't.
Oh, really? Okay. Well,
I could be wrong.
I,
Maybe he makes a hammer. I didn't see it. I'm pretty sure he took that out. If he did, I'm wrong.
I think he makes a hammer. I'm pretty sure. Like that in the
Remember it.
Whedon version, it looked very Zack Snyder-ish as well. Like
Maybe he made a hammer. Even if he made one hammer, he needed to make more because he shot beams 3 or 4 times, and I was like, dude, he could have taken on Darkseid by himself. Whatever. What do you think about that?
The Green Lantern against Darkseid. Come on, man.
Dude, all he has to do is make an energy bubble around his head and squeeze it. Now, maybe not that Green Lantern, but Hal Jordan. Come on.
All right.
Whatever. But yeah, this slate is all over the place. I mean, why do we care if Batgirl or Black Adam meets Aquaman? Why do I care that these are the same universe?
Yeah. Sorry, I've got to interrupt you again.
Oh,
Tell me to shut up if I interrupt you too much.
Shut up. All right, that's it.
They're trying to make the DC Trinity into all women. I know this. They're trying to do the Supergirl. Really? I'm telling you, a bunch of really woke politics agendas people are taking over the DC. And it's not necessary because actually DC was very diverse before. There was like a good diversity in Suicide Squad. There was good diversity in Shazam. And there was plenty of opportunity to be quite diverse in the casts of other main superheroes. Why do we have to do this forced thing with Blue Beetle or Static Shock? If you want to do a diverse character that black people can be into, do Jon Stewart.
Yeah, Jon Stewart is a great Green Lantern.
And then you can add to the universe. No one would have.
And why? I mean, I guess Zatanna can kind of be like a Doctor Strange movie with magic, but why her? Why not Constantine? Why? That's the thing. Like, why any of this? It just doesn't feel coherent. It didn't help that they added Bat Wheels and all these TV shows. They should have just shown us the movie slate.
Yeah. Can you move this out of the way just for a second, just so I can see what
the comment?
Bottom? Just so I can see what the bottom. Yeah. So it's Super Pets, Superhero High, DMZ.
And Gotham Knights is a video game. Why are they showing? Yeah. I don't know what DMZ means, dude.
GCPD. That's the Gotham Central Police.
What is DMZ?
The Suicide Squad. I don't know. I have no fucking clue. I don't think this is an official slate, to be honest, because this is even worse than I could imagine.
Oh, dude, this was the official picture that they showed in the meeting, like with this unfinished Batgirl logo. Like they just threw it together. That Green Lantern logo is from the comics. They lazily put together these logos. I'm fairly certain this was the official picture they showed. Dude,
that's why I'm saying if they had a more compelling slate, I wouldn't even care about, I'd say, that was a great movie, loved the Snyder Cut, but I'm interested in these new films. The only films I'm interested in that slate are the Batman and Shazam. And even Shazam, that looks like they're fucking up because they're not having him face Black Adam.
Right.
The Flash sounds like an absolute mess. And, Keaton even came out today and said he doesn't even know if he's doing it.
I saw he was
waiting for the script.
He said, I have the script on my iPad somewhere. I'll read it at some point. That shows how much he really cares. I mean, he was being honest.
Yeah, and he said that honestly, he doesn't want to go to the UK or something because of COVID. So I don't, this is
it's a mess.
It's a mess. Supergirl, Batman, 2 Batmans, instead of just doing the Thomas Wayne story, which is what we wanted to, which is what the Flash we'd want to see. And all you'd need to do that is do one more Batman movie in universe, and then do one more Flash origin in universe, and then you're set up to do your Flashpoint movie, which would be much better than what they're doing. I really think it could almost function like a Justice League sequel. Like it's like a alternate world Justice League movie.
Yeah, I mean, how much money is Zatanna going to make? I mean, we don't have cast or pictures or directors. It's way too early, but I don't see Zatanna or Batgirl or Peacemaker. I don't see these movies making more than $700 million. I mean,
I don't think they're going to make 700 million. I think you're being really, really positive.
I'm being generous.
Because they're going to give because that's what Walter Hamada does. He basically does these horror films, gives low budgets for a small profit, basically. So that's what he's done with the Batman. That's what he's done with Shazam. You know, just give a really low budget and then hope that, you know, it makes the Batman's going to make a lot of money. The Batman's going to make a sick amount of money.
Oh, dude, the Batman. I will say the Batman looks great. I did a trailer reaction early on my channel, and I think it looks really great. Batman, Green Lantern. I don't have any hope for Aquaman 2 because number 1 was so bad.
Green Lantern is a TV show. It's not a.
I like that.
CW, a CW TV show, not a you know, a normal HBO Max TV
I thought it was on HBO Max.
I think it's a Greg Berlanti.
If it's on CW, I'm staying away from it.
Yeah, exactly. I think it might be HBO Max, but it's definitely you know, Greg Berlanti, who does Flash and does other things like that.
Oh no.
So I'm not excited for that. Otherwise I would be if it was a HBO Max show, and plus the Green Lanterns are not going to be Hal Jordan or Jon Stewart.
Yeah, like what? I don't know. My mouse is messing up. So to end it here, do you have any final thoughts? Anything that was unsaid that you want to get off your chest about? I mean, I know we'll do some more of these, man. This was fun. I've never done a stream before.
It was fun.
It's good talking to you. I've never talked to anybody on a stream. I mean, I hope it was fun to watch. I think it was good. I really enjoyed it. I was really. I think the thing that I wish I had have been able to say everything I love about the movie. It's not that fresh in my mind because I'm gonna go and watch it with a friend now, who invited me to go and see it. And so I didn't want to watch it again. So it's not so fresh in my mind. But yeah, I think you did a really good, I think your reasons and your rationale was on point. I think you had some good points too.
Yeah. I just wish that there could be compromise. That's all I want. In this world, I think compromise is always the best thing. Wanting everything your way, you know, is not realistic. And I think that's what the Snyder people want. And I think that's what certain of anti-Snyder people want as well. And I think it's not, look at this slate, man. I'm just saying, I don't trust these people with the, you know, as bad as you want to say Snyder is, at least he's picked up a comic once or twice.
I would say so.
These guys have never picked up a comic. Like Batgirl.
My girlfriend likes Batgirl, but I mean, I'm not excited for it.
Yeah, I've never liked
anybody who watches this. Just know that we don't hate these characters. That's the thing, is that we love these characters. We want to see them be done right. That's the whole thing. I don't just hate on movies because I like to do it for views, dude. I love Green Lantern and The Flash, and I like Shazam. He's okay. I love Superman and Batman. I want these characters done well. Like, we don't want to crap on the slate. I would rather do a stream like hyping up the future. Just can't do that.
He says, if you want a traditional Superman story, Superman and Lois is for you. Yeah, but I want him on the big screen. I don't. I like him on TV, but he's got great big, like amazing superpowers that can't be done. Justice on the small screen. We want a proper Superman on the big screen, and I want to see a Red Sun movie before I fucking die. You know, like
it'll never happen.
Yeah, I know. Sad.
Just because people, I think they want to stay away from any kind of sniffing politics at all.
Yeah, I know. It's sad though, isn't it?
Even though
it's not that political, that film. It's more just about like, what would happen. Kind of thing.
I don't think that the studio, like these weak studios who don't like to take chances, they don't want to. I could see Zack doing a Superman Red Son Elseworld story, but then
it would be trash.
HBO Max might.
He'd fuck that up so badly. I could see him fucking it up. I don't know how he'd do it, but he'd somehow fuck it up.
Wait, Batgirl could be awesome if they end the movie with her answering her door and getting shit. Oh, getting shot by Joker.
Yeah.
Oh man. People hate that in that story. They think it's like sexist and
yeah. I know.
I mean, yeah, whatever. I think
HBO. What does he say? HBO Max put. Sorry, go on. What were you saying?
I was just say the Killing Joke and people. Yeah, she's a plot point for Batman, but a lot of characters are just plot points for other characters, and it's part of an inciting act. I mean, I just don't have a problem with Joker shooting Barbara in the stomach.
I don't have a problem with that when she becomes Oracle and stuff like that. If she's useful in the movie after, maybe she can get rehabilitated a little bit quickly and then be useful after. But I have much more of a problem with the idea of killing Lois, Wonder Woman, and Harley Quinn. And I'm not a big Harley Quinn fan, but I just think that's disgraceful. Like, you're going to kill off 3 major women just to advance, the stories of some men. But yeah, that's really it. I mean, as I said, I think there's a situation in which you can have a compromise with this, where you don't have to lose a big part of your fan base. Even if some of them are toxic, you shouldn't have to lose a big part of your fan base, and then go. And the problem is trying to make just movies that are like the MCU, and that's not what DC does well. I think DC does grand epic well. They do The Dark Knight, they do Watchmen, they do V for Vendetta, Wonder Woman, even, like these bigger than life movies that are a little bit more dramatic than the MCU movies. I think that's what it's been proven in the box office. That's what people like about DC.
I don't know. See, just talking about it bums me out. I look at the news and stuff, and I just get, I don't know.
Yeah.
My metaphorical boner goes down.
Well, at least our lives are good, and that's a hell of a shirt. So, is that turtles on it?
It's chameleons.
Lizards. Chameleons, man. You've always got like shit hot shirts, man. Where are you getting these? You get them from Hawaii and stuff.
Walmart, Target.
Well, okay.
It's just, I mean, I love wearing this in real life, and I thought that's gonna be my get up for my videos.
Yeah. Just wear a Hawaiian shirt style every time. It works for you, man. Yeah, we're happy in real life, and that's the most important thing. These are just movies. C'est la vie.
Yeah,
so
really. And that's the name of my channel. I'm not supposed to be a pickle who is philosophical. I try to make my opinions put people in philosophical pickles. That's what that's about. So I like to have conversation, even if it's hard, even if people don't like it. I know not everybody likes what we say.
Yeah.
If you don't agree with Ray Fisher, you get torched, but whatever. I mean, I think it was some good conversation, man.
Yeah. And mine is which is the definite article. And I'm a nerd and also a man. So that's and I like to put you in a nerd man.
Wait, you're not the nerd non-binary?
Yes, exactly as well.
Let's not go there.
Cisgender. I still don't know what all of it means. Have you followed that? Do you know what is cisgender?
Cisgender means that's what I am. I'm a cis white man. It means I'm straight. I know that I'm a man, and I'm white. Cisgender means that you know what you're regular. You know what gender you are. And if I'm wrong,
I'm not cisgender.
I mean, if you think that you could be a woman, if you don't feel like a man.
Wait. Sorry, I thought you said it is if you feel like a man, cisgender.
What do you feel like? How did this get to this?
I don't know. I'm kind of soft, actually.
I know that I'm a man, and I'm white, So I'm a white cis man.
Oh, so I'm a black cis man.
Yes.
Black cis man. I'm gonna call myself that from now on.
Yeah.
Black cis man.
I mean, we just got to make sure that
No.
we got to make sure whatever we do next time, we have to make it about race, dude. We got to.
Absolutely.
That's what you have to do.
Let's do that. All right. Well, I have to run off soon, but thanks, man. This has been really fun and epic.
Yeah.
Probably keep it. Yeah, no, it really was.
Epic.
It was epic. But we should probably keep it down to well, we'll talk about this after we go off there. But really, really good, really fun.
Yeah, man, this was fun. We'll definitely keep in touch and do this some more.
Yeah, let's do it. You want to close it down?
Yeah, I'm gonna close it down, guys. Subscribe to Philosophical Pickle if you haven't. Subscribe to the Nerd Man over here.
Tuesdays, yep.
Hot Takes Tuesday. Wait, I keep pointing the wrong direction. Hot Takes Tuesdays on YouTube. This guy has some good points. I like this guy, and hopefully you guys like me. I don't really care if you do or not. Whatever. Let's end it.
All right, cool.
All right, cis out.
All right, cool. Bye.
Cisgender man out.